For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
Guess who's in charge of arranging the corporate event this year? Now, where to start?
Conn's Catering and Events has you covered. A quick call or visit with the experts at Conn's will save you time while making you look like an excellent planner.
Well, this event is a real monster. We'll need a bunch of options.
Like a customizable menu tailored to your specific needs and preferences?
That would be one easy solution.
From full-service events like the one you're planning to drop-off catering like a quick meal to feed the office, Conn's will have people complimenting you on the excellent choices.
Sounds like this is going to be a permanent addition to my job description.
Because you're not settling for anything less than extraordinary. Give Conn's a call. They'll help you turn the event into a complete success as you make that lasting impression on your clients, employees, and guests.
Call Angie at 217-523-4466 or visit Cons at conshg.com to set up your corporate dining experience today.
Where do ghosts sleep? In the Booge Room, of course. And they sleep great on their all-new Bemco Arctic Breeze and Max Life mattresses from the guys at Just Beds. This month, twin Bemco mattresses $149. Queen mattresses just $229. Spooky good deals and a great night's sleep from the all-new Bemco Arctic Breeze and Max Life mattresses. As always, free delivery to your Booge Room, setup, and removal. Visit the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive, Springfield.
Just Beds. Now, your dependable forecast on 92.7 WMAY.
A mix of clouds and sun today with a slight chance for scattered rain showers. Highs around 64. Westerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight. Lows dip down to about 42. High of 60 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Mid-60s Sunday. Cooler on Monday with highs in the low 60s. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 46.
Weather sponsored by BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville. Online at blhcomputers.com.
I think what people want from their doctors, as much as anything, is a partner in their care. I'm Dr. Chris McDowell, a physician with SIU Medicine. Our clinical excellence is unmatched in the region. We're home to the latest technology, the best people. But what sets us apart is our commitment to our patients. Being there for them as a partner, a supporter, as an advocate, and even a neighbor. That's what makes SIU Medicine so unique. Learn more at siumed.org.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
Well, we made it to Friday. Congratulations, everyone. You did it. I'm here to say thumbs up. But next week's going to be a pretty big week. October 11th, Wednesday, you've got a hearing in the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court expected, where attorney Thomas Magg is going to be presenting his arguments on the vagueness challenge of Illinois' gun and magazine ban. So we're going to take a moment to kind of delve a little bit into how we got to this point. Of course, with Magg, he filed this case on, like a week and a half or 2 weeks after the law went into effect. He was actually the first one to file a lawsuit in state court challenging the gun and magazine ban on a whole host of issues. Second Amendment grounds, 14th Amendment grounds, Fifth Amendment grounds, vagueness grounds. We've talked about a lot of those things. But other lawsuits started to be filed. Magg's case was then transferred from state court to federal court. And then you had other cases filed in federal courts in the Southern District. Those cases were then lumped together, challenging the gun and magazine ban on a host of grounds, including the federal firearms licensees of Illinois, really driving home that issue of right to repair, especially focusing on the different parts. But they decided to only hear the Second Amendment challenge in the Southern District, if you recall, earlier this year. And that was down in the Southern District, but while that was going on, you had cases in the Northern District challenging Naperville's gun and magazine ban, challenging Chicago and Cook County's gun and magazine ban, while also those cases in the Northern District, one in particular, was modified to challenge the state's gun and magazine ban as well after the state enacted that. So you had different outcomes. The consolidated cases in the Southern District that included Thomas Magg's case, the Langley case, all consolidated under the auspice of Barnett. So just so we understand, you got consolidated cases in the Southern District as you had consolidated cases in the Northern District. Ultimately, all go to the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals with different outcomes from the different jurisdictions. So we're still waiting on the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals case to be decided by the appeals court, and whether or not it's going to uphold the law in the face of Second Amendment challenges, or if it's going to review other jurisdictions where they're dealing with this same kind of question out of California, Hawaii, Washington State, and elsewhere throughout the country, Texas. You've got different narrow arguments on Second Amendment law and whether or not certain laws can infringe upon that Second Amendment right. So where we're at now with the Magg case is he has, of course, waiting for the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals on the Second Amendment grounds. He's bringing up his vagueness issue back in the Southern District because they have yet to really get to the merits of the issue. And this is kind of picking apart each one of these different questions of the merits of the issue. So the Southern District's October 11th, that's Wednesday, they're going to be hearing this case where Magg's going to bring forward the arguments of vagueness. So let's go ahead and take a look at the filing and the docket here for where we got to this point with the Magg case. So if you're watching along, you'll be able to see this. You had several different docket entries on May 19th. There was a motion for summary partial judgment on the vagueness issue that was filed. That was filed by the plaintiffs, Langley. They offered up a bunch of different exhibits from, descriptions of an AK-47, an AR-7, an AR-30, different types of firearms that they laid out in their different motions. With all of the questions of vagueness, they are using those as exhibits. But then you forward up and you see that on June 2nd, the states actually motioned for a stay on the partial vagueness question. Then on the 5th, you've got the order that the court was in receipt of that stay in the motion, and the Langley plaintiffs shall respond by June 14th. But June 12th, you have the response to that motion, and here's what that motion ultimately lays out when they filed this June 12th, and this is from Thomas Magg. He says, this court's previously heard a consolidated motion for preliminary injunction limited to Second Amendment issues. Plaintiffs in this case agree to temporarily forego briefing and ruling on the non-Second Amendment issues in order to expedite a trial court decision on actual Second Amendment issues, as most of the litigants in the consolidated action brought only those claims, despite other obvious claims that could have been brought. Plaintiffs were crystal clear they are not waiving those Second Amendment issues. This court, at oral argument on the Second Amendment issues in the preliminary injunction, even commented that we will have to get to the non-Second Amendment issues in the future. That future is now. Defendants note in the court's order, and plaintiffs simply note that this is a later date upon which the claims can be litigated. To the extent the court wishes a formal motion or formal requests to litigants those issues at this time, to litigate those issues, the court may consider this response as the same. So the Seventh Circuit Court currently has jurisdiction over interlocutory appeals, and they go through that. But ultimately, they say vagueness and Fifth Amendment issues remain because they've dealt with the Second Amendment issues, but the Fifth Amendment and vagueness issues remain. Every day that goes by, defendants is purporting to enforce this statute to the detriment of the people of the state of Illinois. Justice delayed is, in fact, justice denied. Every day that goes by with challenged statutes in effect, citizens in Illinois risk on a vague and undecipherable statute, or worse, being unable to mount an effective defense if and when attacked for fear of using a firearm or ammunition feeding device possibly potentially prohibited by the act. So they go through discovery, and he spells that out in his filing. He also talks about the piecemeal litigation and lays some other things out, and waiting until the close of discovery to rule. That lays some more arguments out there. In conclusion, ultimately, Mag says the court should give defendants 2 weeks for this date to file opposition to the motion and set oral arguments on the same as the soonest mutually workable date for the parties and the court. So again, that was in June when Mag filed that in response to how we're moving forward here with that case. And then you had Stephen McGlynn file an order here before the court. You've got Brendan Kelly, ISP director. You've got Jeremy Langley with his attorneys regarding the court's granting motion of preliminary injunction. The interlocutory appeal pertains to the Second Amendment claims presented in this case and is currently pending before the Seventh Circuit. The court's consolidated this case with other cases for the purpose of common claims and stayed litigation on other claims presented, although the interlocutory appeal does not pertain to the criminal enforcement of the Protect Illinois Communities Act on vagueness grounds, as the Langley plaintiffs now raise. The appeal is fully briefed and argued and may impact enforcement of the Protect Illinois Communities Act. Thus, in the interest of judicial economy, the motion to stay, in part, consideration for the motion of summary judgment is stayed for 45 days. The court will set a status hearing for this in 45 days. So again, that was on June 29th. And then you look at the dockets, and ultimately we have the latest where they have this this date set. St. Louis. It's going to be October 11th, 1:30 p.m., and it's going to be before Judge Stephen McGlynn. So anticipating that, I've already got it on my calendar. I'll definitely be traveling down there to check that out. So looking forward to hearing those arguments, and we'll definitely be bringing it to you next week. All right, so that's Wednesday, the hearing, and then Thursday morning we'll definitely unpack a lot of what we have done there. But you can, of course, follow along in real time. Just search Bishop on Air. You could do that on X. You could do that on Facebook. You could do that on YouTube. Again, search Bishop on Air. Follow, subscribe, like, do whatever you got to do there, all right? It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. All right, coming up, some questions about no cash bail. Interesting stories highlighted in the news recently, but still some concerns, especially when it comes to criminal suspects getting caught with large amounts of drugs. Not just a hitter box, not just a dime bag. No, we're talking lots of drugs. So we'll touch on that a bit here in a moment. 621 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
If your checking account doesn't come with discounts and offers on goods and services, it's time to get More For You Checking. More For You Checking from Heartland Bank offers 24-hour roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft aid, and discounts on prescriptions and much more. Wherever you go, More For You Checking benefits save you money on the things you're already paying for. Visit hbtbank.com and unlock the power of more. More For You Checking from Heartland Bank and Trust Company. Member FDIC.
At Midwest Garage Door Company, we offer products that are designed for how you live and work. Looking for residential, commercial, or agricultural doors? Midwest Garage Door has you covered. We offer a wide array of garage doors and LiftMaster openers. With professional installation from our trained technicians, LiftMaster openers are available with top-of-the-line accessories, like built-in Wi-Fi, allowing you to open and close your door from your smartphone or computer wherever you are. Visit MidwestGarageDoor.com to learn more.
Hi, this is Dr. Brad Schaefer. As a podiatrist, I can tell you no two people's feet are alike, which is why I recommend Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotic inserts. They're customized for your feet, so you get a unique solution your feet really need, not just a one-size-fits-all insole. They're clinically proven to provide pain relief for achy feet, knees, lower back, plantar fasciitis, and heels. Take the Dr. Scholl's custom fit orthotics assessment in Walmart today, now in the foot care aisle.
For over a decade, SimpliSafe has revolutionized home security, and our latest advancement is here, 24/7 LiveGuard protection, only from SimpliSafe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplisafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like SimpliSafe.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's Identify EPI.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club?
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Rieken, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, get the whole store. Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Here's what we believe at Rex Battery. You should be able to find the right battery when you need it. Our company started when my dad needed a battery for his car, and he built it himself. Today, more than 50 years later, we are still making sure you can find the right battery you need. And that includes the common batteries people use every day to the hard-to-find batteries used in big farm equipment. While online outlets are struggling with supply chain issues, we have shelves full of batteries. The best part is we're right here in town and ready to help today. Hearing aids, power tools, and the car in your garage. If it takes a battery, you can find the battery at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
Springfield supportive living. Are you young enough?
Lavina Roach. I was married for almost 65 years, and I have 4 kids, 5 grandkids, and 5 great-grandkids. I've been here for 5 months. It's so clean. Everybody's wonderful. It makes you feel more like home. And I don't think there's any place in town that's as nice as this one.
Springfield supportive living. Are you young enough?
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
Had an interesting phone call yesterday with an individual close to certain situations that helped kind of highlight some of the problems that we may see starting to arise in the implementation of the Pretrial Fairness Act. That's the law that allows for no cash bail across the state. And we know how that plays out with, the law passing early January of 2021, the lawsuits that tried to block it. It was blocked from January 1st when it was supposed to be implemented this year to September 18th when ultimately the Illinois Supreme Court upheld the law and allowed it to go into effect. A lot of concerns about some rural areas that are dealing with the procedural process because when they pick up somebody and they don't have prosecutors hold a hearing within 48 hours saying this person's a danger to the society and needs to be held pending trial, whether or not they're able to do that within 48 hours, unclear. Can they get enough evidence to convince a judge to hold somebody? So you've got that playing out in some areas where they might not have the resources to do that exactly. But you do have others highlighting how, the law in Illinois, statewide, no cash bail, it is being compared to how, say, for instance, in other states. You got the story, the governor of Wisconsin, was threatened by an individual who brought a handgun to the Capitol. That individual was arrested, and then they bailed out and then went back to the Capitol with another firearm. And Illinois lawmakers saying the Pretrial Fairness Act wouldn't have allowed that. And they say that that individual, if that happened here in Illinois, they would have been kept behind bars and not allowed to bail out. So you've got supporters of the Pretrial Fairness Act highlighting that. But on the other side, you've got people raising concerns that there are serious criminal suspects who are being let go even after being charged with things like Class X felonies. And this is dealing with, for instance, the issue of large amounts of drugs being found. There was a story up in the Quad Cities area. Illinois State Police, they arrested two individuals from Texas who had, more than 5,000 pounds of cannabis that they were trafficking. They processed them, took them to the jail, and they were let out, given a order to appear, right? In order to appear. Here's your ticket. You got to come back to the judge in a couple of weeks or however long it is, and then you got to appear. Well, that issue of appearing before a judge to face charges because, listen, they're criminal defendants. They are suspects. They've been arrested in the commission of a crime. Allegations have been filed, and they have to go to trial now. They have to go to court. Either they're going to plead guilty or not guilty, or they're going to demand a jury trial, or however it is, right? You have a right to a speedy trial if you're charged. You're innocent until proven guilty, but you have a right to a trial until you're proven, guilty. You're innocent until proven guilty. So the question is here we are now, 3 weeks after the implementation of this? What is the picture across the state for failures to appear? And if there's a failure to appear, there's a warrant issued. These individuals from Texas that were caught with, allegedly, 5,000 pounds of cannabis, they were released. Are they still in Illinois? What were the release guidelines? What were the various provisions that the court said, okay, you're released under these conditions? What were your release conditions? Are they still in Illinois, or did they head off to Texas? What about other large drug cases that there may be? People caught with tons of meth, for instance. If that's, just an anecdote, say somebody's caught with, Class X felony level of meth. Are they being processed and then just put back out on the streets? Are they really going to show back up to court, or are they just going to try to take their chance and, evade any kind of law enforcement wherever they can. So you've got those concerns. So I'm going to try to call around and see if those failures to appear are starting to either show themselves as a problem and a substantial number, or if they're somewhat similar to how they have been in the past, and how that's going to play out. Because I think that's the next shoe to fall, especially now here we are 3 weeks into the start of no cash bail, and whether or not we have those failures to appear increasing. So definitely going to do a little bit of investigation on that and see what we can find out. But you've got, of course, the whole question of the Pretrial Fairness Act being considered somewhat still experimental, and even law professors are highlighting that. Let's take a quick call here at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg. Yeah, I think the two guys that got busted with the 5,000 pounds of pot have bigger things to worry about now that they're out free on bond.
So you're saying that somebody who gave them that 5,000 pounds of pot might be a little upset that it got confiscated.
Yeah, where's my money, boys? Where's my pot at? Right? So
they probably would have been better off being kept behind bars.
I would think so, Greg. I think I would rather probably be in that scenario. I think I'd probably still rather be locked up.
That is such a good point. It really is. Oh my gosh! I appreciate the call. It is Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. All right, coming back, we got to delve into what's really dominating a lot of headlines out there, and that is the border crisis. And did the White House make a 180? We'll get to that. We'll hear what the governor had to say. We'll hear what the White House had to say. We'll hear what the Chicago mayor had to say, what citizens in Joliet had to say. And we'll even talk about the latest polling on all of this. So if you're tired of hearing about the migrant issue, well, you might want to find something else to maybe watch, because we're going to be focused on this for like the next hour or so. So stay tuned. 6:32, it is Springfield's Morning News. Let's check some headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the Illinois State Police has announced that investigators have identified the vehicle and driver believed to be involved in the fatal crash just outside of Teutopolis on September 29th. ISP credited community members who supplied information after the agency issued a plea to residents to contact them with doorbell or security footage of the area. 5 people died when a tanker carrying anhydrous ammonia crashed, apparently while being overtaken by a car. Sangamon County residents who live outside the city of Springfield now have large item pickup and drop-off services available. The county launched the program this week in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. Eligible residents can schedule pickup or drop-off of large items not typically accommodated by regular waste management services. More details can be found at WMAY.com. Dick Butkus is dead at the age of 80. Butkus was called by Sports Illustrated the most feared man in the game during a playing career spent entirely with the Chicago Bears. A native of Chicago, Butkus played linebacker at the University of Illinois before being drafted by the Bears in 1965. He then pursued a career as an actor, broadcaster, and pitchman. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame and made the Pro Bowl 8 out of the 9 seasons he played. After Governor Pritzker's letter to President Biden complaining about the lack of federal support for caring, feeding, and housing migrants bused to Chicago, Illinois Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth met with Illinois Speaker of the House Emanuel Chris Welch. According to statements from the senators' offices, the lawmakers discussed Illinois' humanitarian response to the arrival of more than 15,000 migrants. Durbin and Duckworth reaffirmed their commitment to direct federal funding to the state. A Wisconsin man made 2 attempts yesterday to enter the state capitol with firearms. The first time, he was carrying a holstered handgun while demanding to see the governor. He was arrested because the Wisconsin Capitol only allows weapons in the building if they're concealed and the bearer has a permit. He posted bail and within hours had returned with an assault-style weapon, demanding to see the governor again. Illinois Representative Daniel Dittich pointed out that in Illinois, someone threatening to murder the governor would not be able to buy his way out of jail because of the Safety Act. Illinois families are reminded that support is available from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program provides utility bill assistance for natural gas, propane, and electricity. Applications have opened for income-eligible households with seniors aged 60+, Illinoisans with a documented long-term disability, and or children under the age of 6. Links can be found at WMAY.com. Your WMAY dependable forecast is next on Springfield's News and Talk.
That to-do list you have needs one more thing. Chill. It's an easy thing to do. Just crack open an ice-cold Coors Light and chill. Take the afternoon off and binge watch anything. Go to happy hour and stay for a couple hours. Who's counting anyways? Or hang out with just your dog, because you've had enough human interaction this week. Whatever you do it with a Coors Light. Mountain Cold Refreshment made to chill. 2020 Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. Celebrate responsibly.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Blood donors rock at Impact Life because saving lives is in their bones. Now, through October 31st, all donors who register to give blood will be eligible for their choice of a $10 gift card or a limited edition Blood Donors Rock long-sleeved Halloween-themed t-shirt. Give what's in your heart today and register to donate blood before October 31st. Visit our donor center on Wabash in Springfield or on Main Street in Decatur. We are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Now, your dependable forecast on 92.7 WMAY.
A mix of clouds and sun today with a slight chance for scattered rain showers. Highs around 64. Westerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Mainly clear tonight. Lows dip down to about 42. High of 60 tomorrow. Ample sunshine expected. Mid-60s Sunday. Cooler on Monday with highs in the low 60s. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 46.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Hey, it's Breeze Airways, the seriously nice airline that wants to fly you to your next vacation. Fly nonstop from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport in Springfield to Orlando and Tampa Bay, faster and easier than ever before. We don't charge change or cancellation fees, so you can book with complete peace of mind. Go to flybreeze.com or download the Breeze app to book your trip. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
Take the easy way out.
Getting around town can be a challenge for those with disabilities. SMTD's Access Paratransit makes it easy.
Hi, my name is Tavares Sanders, and I am an Access Parent Transit driver.
And Tavares, what would you say is the most important part of your job?
The most important part of my job is to keep the passenger safe.
And what's your favorite part about your job?
The thing I love about my job the most is helping people with disabilities to get where they're going.
And describe Access in one word.
Excellence, because we strive for the best.
For schedules and routes, go to smtd.org.
It's obvious. The unthinkable is going to happen soon. With all the distractions in the media, we probably won't see it coming. Your gut tells you there's something very wrong going on, and all the evidence suggests that there is. Those in charge say everything's fine. Stop noticing. But you know better. American families are preparing. Folks are getting into self-reliance and investing in emergency food storage. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, is the place you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. For a limited time, save 25%, plus get free shipping on all their 3-month emergency food kits. Go to mypatriotsupply.com today. Order by 3 p.m. and your items ship the same day. It's time to prepare for what's coming. mypatriotsupply.com.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
on the border wall. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate it, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. In the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use money for what it's appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
Well, that's President Joe Biden yesterday saying that the border wall doesn't work despite his administration moving forward with the border wall. He got several miles that are planned, and, the questions of hypocrisy seem to be mounting just as high as that border wall because the previous statements by the administration and others saying that, essentially equivocating, saying that the border is secure, there's no need for a wall, saying that it's immoral. You had Nancy Pelosi saying that not too long ago, and a whole bunch of other statements about a proposed border wall that Republicans have been pushing for to close the border. But we've seen now more than 2.8 million people cross the border into the United States just in the past fiscal year, and it's been escalating every year. I think in 2020 there were 600,000 that crossed, that had encounters with Border Patrol. So you go from like 650,000 or so to more than 2.8 million in the span of several years per year, stacking up. You could see just how much of a issue this has become. So it was announced through federal rules and even statements from the Department of Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas that they have to do this. It's as the Democrats said this week, letters to the president, including one from Governor J.B. Pritzker. It's untenable, it's uncoordinated, it's overwhelming, and that seems to have provided enough pressure to not just Pritzker, but others from across the country, other Democrats that are getting inundated with these new non-citizen arrivals. And you've got the White House now seeming to say, okay, we've got to fix this. But are they saying that? This is what's really fascinating here. Because it's not just them seeming to reverse completely to spend tax dollars on a border wall. After trying to sell border wall components, if you remember that story from not long ago, after criticizing Border Patrol for and alleging that they were whipping migrants crossing the border, if you remember that whole debacle. So is this a complete reversal, or is it kind of they're speaking out of both sides of their mouth? We'll definitely let you be the judge of that, and you can call in at 217-629-7970. But Governor J.B. Pritzker was asked about the border wall yesterday at an unrelated event in Chicago. He said essentially that the border wall that's being built now by the Biden administration is really a message to Republicans. It's time to come to the table to talk about comprehensive immigration reform. Here's the governor being asked about that yesterday.
Tell us about where your thoughts are on the wall and how Biden's decision to go back and build this wall that originally he had not been in favor of.
Well, you're focusing on a wall, but this is really more a comprehensive discussion about border security, and he's been in favor from the very beginning and for a long time in his career of border security, but also having significant immigration in this country. You've seen that, the projections that actually without immigration that we would have a declining population in the United States, which, by the way, would also lead to a declining economy in the United States. So
supports him now saying he is going forward.
Well, again, you're focusing on one aspect, which I understand, but I just want you to understand also that it's not just a wall that provides border security. There are lots of other aspects to it. And so making sure that we're enhancing all of those while also working for comprehensive immigration reform, because he's not doing this in isolation. He's also telling Republicans that if you want to come to the table, now is the time. We're willing to do this if you're willing to do that.
So again, Governor J.B. Pritzker says that Biden moving forward with building the border wall is sending a message to Republicans, hey, come to the table now. We're building this border wall. We're closing the border, despite us saying that the border wasn't open, despite us intimating that a border wall is racist or immoral. Despite all of that, hey, look, we're building the wall. Is this a turnaround, a 180? We'll hear, of course, what the White House press secretary had to say, but we'll revisit what President Joe Biden himself had to say, that the border wall does not work, he claims. 217-629-7970. We'll take your calls as they come in. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning.
Hey.
they just realize that it's such a mounting problem that there's no way they're going to win any elections if they don't do something about it. But, everyone is subject to doing what's right and what's wrong. And greed is a part of this thing. With all the millions of dollars transferred and these trafficking cases and things along those lines, it's pretty clear to me that, they're making money off this, and it's becoming such a mounting problem that they can't ignore it any further. But I said years ago, you can only let so many people on a ship before it sinks. And, like 5 years back, I was having to pay my Obamacare fine for not having insurance, and you had somebody come over here illegally, and they get free medical. It just doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah, and I think you'll definitely hear more about the political winds changing. We're going to have a pollster on a little bit later on after 7:30 to talk about that in more detail. So I encourage you to stay tuned because we've got a lot more to get to on this. But of course, Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that, hey, President Biden building the border wall, it's just part of his overall border security strategy and comprehensive immigration reform. And, it's a message to Republicans saying, hey, look, we're building this wall. That's what we're willing to do. What are you willing to do? Well, again, here's President Joe Biden seeming to kind of contradict that whole notion from yesterday at the White House.
I'll answer one question on the border wall. The border wall, the money was appropriated for the border wall. I tried to get them to reappropriate, to redirect that money. They didn't. They wouldn't. And in the meantime, there's nothing under the law other than they have to use the money for what it was appropriated. I can't stop that.
Do you believe the border wall works?
No.
So we'll hear what the White House had to say. Karine Jean-Pierre, the press secretary, she was asked about, isn't this like a heaping pile of hypocrisy? So stay tuned. We'll get to that next here on WMAY. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Follow me anywhere. Just search Bishop on air, and we can connect that way. All right? So make it happen. It is Springfield's Morning News at 6:48, and let's take a look at that dependable weather, where today we've got a high of only 64. It is chilly out there. I had to wear a jacket on the way to the truck this morning. The low down to 41, mostly clear skies with sunshine Saturday, 59 the high. Sunny on Sunday with 65 the high. And Columbus Day, we're looking at sunny skies, the high of 59. 47 now at 6:48. From Culver's West on Wabash.
Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all shifts and all positions. Apply today in person.
If your checking account doesn't come with discounts and offers on goods and services, it's time to get More For You Checking. More For You Checking from Heartland Bank offers 24-hour roadside assistance, cell phone protection, identity theft aid, and discounts on prescriptions and much more. Wherever you go, More For You Checking benefits save you money on the things you're already paying for. Visit hbtbank.com and unlock the power of more. More For You Checking from Heartland Bank and Trust Company. Member FDIC.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health: meditation. It starts with proper breathing. By breathing in slowly for 5 or 10 seconds and exhaling, counting the same way, for just a few minutes each day has been a big deal for many people as they reach a new level of relaxation. Now, that's just a start. If your feelings of depression and hopelessness are accentuated with drugs and alcohol, then you may need some professional help. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychiatrists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Gateway also uses meditation as a key component of their successful treatment. Your insurance covers the cost, and the Family Medical Leave Act protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
It's a new day, a new way at Green Hyundai. Over 100 new Hyundais in stock and more arriving daily. Come see why Hyundai is the best-selling new car in Sangamon County for the last 16 years.
That's right. Motor Trend Magazine's big third-row 7 and 8 passenger SUV comparison. Hyundai Palisade placed number 1 over the competition. Motor Trend quotes Palisade lowest price, price, best fuel economy, and more luxury, backed up by America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000.
Also, TrueCar quotes best overall SUV, the Tucson. Can you believe the best SUV is under $30,000? Yeah, base price at only $28,000 window price.
Largest inventory we've had in 3 years. Pushing 200 units on the ground. Get the Green Hyundai today. Save big on Hyundai's value. Green Hyundai, 1200 South Dirksen Parkway, Springfield.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 8, we do all sizes. Most mattress retailers sell twin, full, queen, and king. It's rare to find a place that will not only sell standard size, but also custom sizes. So where do you go if you need a short queen for your RV, a 3/4 for your antique bed, a queen or king waterbed replacement, or to find a replacement for that weird mattress tucked up in the attic that's been passed down for years? You go to Verlo. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Hey, at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing from their mattress. A good night's rest, am I right? It's not rocket science. You don't need a physics genius to make you a futuristic space bed. You just need someone to listen to what you want and who knows the materials that will get you there. And you might even be surprised to learn that that someone could be living right next door. At Verlo, we're your friendly neighborhood mattress genius. American made, locally crafted. Welcome to Verlo.
Barcom Security. You know, we're the Have a Secure Day security systems company, right here out on South Cokie Mill Road. Family owned and managed for nearly 50 years. We are local experts in residential, small business, and commercial security systems. Family owned, family values, treating you just like family. Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll actually pick up the phone. You can check us out at barcomsecurity.com, and as always, have a secure day.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
All right, so we heard about the border wall being built. You heard about the governor's response saying it's a message to Republicans that Democrats are doing this. What are Republicans willing to do on, quote, comprehensive immigration reform? You heard President Joe Biden say the border wall doesn't work, even though his administration is moving forward building one, and he claims it's because, well, it's triggered in the law. We have to do this. But you also got these headlines, U.S. resuming deportation flights of Venezuelans. The Biden administration, according to the Associated Press, will resume deporting Venezuelan migrants, the largest single group encountered at the U.S. border, back to their economically troubled country as their arrivals continue to grow. So you've got that playing out. But with what seems to be some kind of hypocrisy here, Karine Jean-Pierre, the White House press secretary, was just blasted with questions about all of this yesterday. So bear with me. It's interesting to hear her kind of dance around this issue.
What specific law will the administration be breaking if funds appropriated for the border wall are not used, especially because the funds go unused all the time? I mean, why not let it go unused this time?
Well, look, I'm not going to speak to the law. I would have to refer you to Department of Justice. I'm not a lawyer, but what I can tell you is that this is a law that we are complying with. We have asked Congress multiple times to reappropriate this. This is not The way that we believe is going to be effective here. We believe in modernizing the system, not actually building a wall. The president said himself he does not think this is effective, and so we're complying by law. And we believe that in the rule of law here, and we're moving forward and getting that, in following the law.
Border walls ineffective. Why is the Homeland Security Secretary saying that it's necessary to prevent unlawful entries into the United States?
I have not seen that full statement. I know. I hear you. I'm just saying I've not seen his full statement on that. What I can speak to is for the president. The president's been very clear that he doesn't believe it's effective. He answered that question of your colleague. That's what I can speak to. That's what we're going to talk about. And we've actually said there are smarter ways and more effective ways in dealing with this. And there are. And so the president said himself, he asked Congress to reappropriate this funds for something that is more effective, for ways to do this in a smarter way as it relates to border security measures. They refused. This was announced back in June, and now we're moving forward.
And he said in 2020 as a candidate, so after this law was passed in 2019, that there will not be another foot of wall constructed in my administration. How can you say that he's not breaking that promise?
Well, what I can say is that there's a law that the DHS is complying with. We believe in the rule of law, and that's what we're moving forward with. This was decided, as you just said, in 2019. I believe there was a different president in 2019, right? That was a Republican president who actually pushed this forward. The Republican leadership pushed this forward. And so now we're complying by the law. Let's not forget, this was 6 months ago. This was out there 6 months ago. I know you guys are asking me about this now, but this was actually not new, and this was done 6 months ago.
Just to be clear about this, the president earlier today said that he was asked, does the border wall work? He said no. But in this statement that was posted within the last 24 hours, the Department of Homeland Security Secretary says there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct physical barriers and roads in the vicinity of the border of the United States in order to prevent unlawful entries into the United States. So who's right? The statement from the DHS Secretary overnight or the President's comments today saying they don't work?
So a couple of things. Yes, it showed up on the register today, but the announcement, this is not new. This is from 6 months ago.
Well, it is new because the waiving of the laws actually didn't happen.
But this is something that was out back, that the DHS was put out back in 6 months ago. They announced.
Did they waive the laws 6 months ago?
Well, what I'm saying is DHS announced this back in June that the agency would do so. They actually said that they would do that back in DHS.
Forward with it today, but the initial announcement was 6 months ago by waiving the laws. So that's what's new today. Understood. So
yes.
The statement when
Just
he says presently
sure
was filed. So when he said there is presently, are you saying when he says there is presently, he was referring to 6 months ago or referring to the date of which it was filed?
What I can tell you is DHS announced this back in June that they were going to move forward with this. That's what I can share with you. That's what I know is to be true and is to be fact. Look, I can speak for the president. The president said he was asked directly. He doesn't believe a border wall is effective.
Does he have a disagreement with his Department of Homeland Security Secretary?
What I can tell you, what the president, I want to tell you what the president said and what your colleague asked him. He said no, he doesn't believe that the border wall is effective.
Speaking in direct contradiction to what his own
Homeland Security
Secretary says.
I hear you. I'm speaking for the president. I'm saying that he has said that he does not believe a border wall is effective. That's what he was asked. He has said that for some time now, and it still remains to be the case. He asked, right? He asked Congress multiple times. His team has asked Congress to reappropriate the funds. They refused to do that. We're going to comply by law.
You asked the president on our behalf then, in the absence of our ability to do that, whether he disagrees with the statement that there is presently an acute and immediate need to construct.
I'm happy to take that back. I'm happy to take that back.
Happy to take that back to the president and see if he wants to clarify his comments. All right, you've been waiting. I appreciate it. I'm going to have to cut you off, though. You got 30 seconds. Good morning.
Hello?
You're on the air. Go ahead. You got 20 seconds.
Neither side wants to do anything about these illegal aliens. They want cheap labor for the Republicans, and they want votes for the Democrats. They're not going to do anything. You can listen to these people bluster back and forth all you want. You go down to Texas where they have that wall, it works. I've talked to people down there.
Well, and they're building it. Even Texas Governor Greg Abbott sending out photos showing that, indeed, they are building that wall. All right, stay tuned. We got more to get to on this. It is Springfield's Morning News. We'll focus on Chicago and Joliet next.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville. Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Liz Landers. Spilling nuclear secrets? The latest controversial claim involving former President Trump Australian billionaire and member of Trump's Mar-a-Lago club, Anthony Pratt, telling special counsel Jack Smith that Trump told him secret information about America's nuclear submarines back in 2021, months after Trump left office.
Sources tell ABC News that no sooner had Trump shared the information with Pratt, the Australian billionaire started telling other people. Those sources tell ABC that one of Trump's former employees at Mar-a-Lago told investigators that minutes after Trump spoke to Pratt, he heard the Australian telling someone else what Trump had told him. Pratt described what the former president had told him in emails and in conversations with at least 45 others, including 6 journalists, 11 of his company's employees, 10 Australian officials, and 3 former Australian prime ministers, the sources told ABC News.
ABC's Jonathan Karl. Meanwhile, still no House Speaker, but former President Trump tells Fox News he'd be willing to serve, at least temporarily, himself. No deal yet to end the Kaiser Permanente healthcare workers strike, the biggest in U.S. history. 75,000 workers from California to Washington, D.C., demanding better pay and staffing. Talks continue, but Kaiser is limiting elective and non-emergency procedures going forward. A new jobs report out later this morning from the federal government. Analysts expect a slight slowdown in hiring.
The experts have been saying for months it's only a matter of time before the job market really begins to feel the effect of a slowing economy. Today's job report could reflect that. Economists expect an addition of 170,000 jobs last month, down from the 187,000 in August. The Fed paying close attention as it mulls what to do with interest rates.
ABC's Daria Albinger. This is ABC News.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
We'll continue the conversation about border security, but really you're going to focus on dignitaries going down to the southern U.S. border. We talked earlier this week with local state representative Mike Coffey, who recently got back from the southern U.S. border. Well, looks like not only do you have New York Mayor Eric Adams, you also now have Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson preparing to go to the southern U.S. border. So stay tuned. We'll get to that and hear what other resources could possibly or not possibly be freed up from state taxpayers to help Chicago. But the issue in Joliet also still contentious. Their township still lined up to get $8.6 million to help with migrant care. So stay tuned. We'll get to all of that coming up here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk at 7:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the University of Illinois meets the University of Nebraska tonight in Lincoln. Each team is looking for its first victory in the Big Ten, with the loser almost certainly out of contention for a Big Ten West division title only 6 weeks into the season. Nebraska lost at home to Michigan last week, while Illinois lost on the road to Purdue. After Governor Pritzker's letter to President Biden complaining about the lack of federal support for caring, feeding, and housing migrants bused to Chicago, Illinois Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth met with Illinois Speaker of the House Emanuel Chris Welch. According to statements from the senators' offices, the lawmakers discussed Illinois' humanitarian response to the arrival of more than 15,000 migrants. Durbin and Duckworth reaffirmed their commitment to direct federal funding to the state. A University of Chicago alum is one of 3 scientists who won the 2023 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Mungi Buendi received his PhD from Chicago in 1988 and now teaches at MIT. He and his colleagues won the award for the work with nano-sized particles, which can release very bright colored light and are used in electronics and medical imaging. They make television screens brighter and allow surgeons to more easily identify tumors. The state of Illinois has announced funding for state prison libraries amounting to $420,000. $15,000 will be given to each of the state's 28 prisons and will be used for books, magazines, and other supplies. Secretary of State Alexi Janulius notes it is the most significant investment in prison libraries since the 1980s and the first time in 6 years that the libraries have received any public funding at all. The $420,000 in grants to the State Department of Corrections represents about 7% of Illinois' $5.7 million allotment this year. The rest goes to community libraries. Your WMAY dependable forecast is next on Springfield's News and Talk.
News brought to you by Illinois Paving. It's paving season, and Illinois Paving is here to help. Call Cousin Bill today for your free estimate. Visit ilpaving.com.
Here's one thing that psychologists and therapists believe to be a key step to achieving better mental health, and it doesn't cost a thing. Spending time outside. That's right, the natural light, the wind against your skin, the sounds and fragrances of the season all work in concert to help you feel better. Now, you can't treat clinical depression and addiction with just one step. Those are more serious problems, especially with drugs and alcohol. The team of nurses, counselors, physicians, and psychologists at Gateway Foundation understand that. They know what you're going through, and they can show you the way out. Your insurance covers treatment, and the Family Medical Leave protects your job. If your situation appears hopeless, make the confidential call to Gateway at 877-505-HOPE, 877-505-HOPE, and start feeling better today. Gateway Foundation. Addiction medicine, saving lives.
Here's what's happening right now at Green Certified West.
Not another goat dropping. Hey guys, another goat dropping.
A what?
The goats. They keep dropping the prices on all these quality pre-owned vehicles. That wasn't what I was expecting.
The goats are just doing what they do best, giving the Green Certified West customers their very best deals and amazing customer service.
These prices are too low. We have a business to run. Hey, you, goat, not another dropping on my lot.
Come see the Goat Squad at Green Certified West for your very best deal.
Why do residents love Springfield Supportive Living? Just ask Mike.
I am so glad that I came here. I really appreciate that they have Wi-Fi here because I like playing on my tablet and looking up things and playing games, and I'm just happy that they have that.
With an experienced staff every step of the way.
I get along with them really well. They're a lot of fun, and it's just been a really good experience.
SpringfieldSupportiveLiving.com.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Now, your dependable forecast on 92.7 WMAY.
Slight chance for scattered showers. Today, otherwise partly cloudy skies. High of 64, winds out of the west 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 42. Tonight, mainly clear. Daytime highs approaching 60. Tomorrow, sunny skies and calm. Mid-60s, Sunday, turning cooler on Monday with highs in the low 60s. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 45.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist. Ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 7, Verlo to go. With Verlo's bed in a box, you can easily take a queen or king mattress, load it into your car, and be on your way. Easy peasy. If you live out of town and prefer to have it shipped, we can do that. The best part, you can try it before you buy it. Quick, convenient, comfortable. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
At Verlo, we custom make every mattress specific to your needs because having to dial in a special number for your side of the bed sounds like math. And nobody likes math, but everyone likes sleep. So let us make you a mattress that's perfectly customized for both of your needs. They want plush, you want firm, you got it. They like memory foam, you're more of the classic type. No problem. At Verlo, we have answers, not algebra. American made, locally crafted. Welcome to Verlo.
Do you like gadgets? Techie kind of stuff that you can control with your phone, like your home security system, for instance. If you have a security system and you're not able to control everything with your phone, you're really missing out. With the virtual keypad on your phone, you can even watch your cameras and control other systems in your house besides just the security system from anywhere at any time. Curious? Call the Springfield office of Barcom Security or check out barcomsecurity.com and have a secure day.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
I've heard that the goal is to convince Migrant not to come to Chicago during winter time. Is that true?
No. Are there other questions? And thank you for not always believing what you hear and asking me directly.
Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson there taking questions about the migrant situation and how the city is handling that. In particular, him going to the southern U.S. border to see all this firsthand. So the mayor yesterday, actually this was on Wednesday after the city council meeting, taking those questions and revealing that indeed he is going to be going to the southern U.S. border. He was asked about the contracts for the base camp tents and how they're working to get through that situation. He was asked about the sentiment of residents in Chicago, especially black Chicagoans, not happy about the lack of resources going to their communities while they seem to be focused on the migrant communities and spending tens of millions of dollars. I mean, we're talking statewide between Chicago and city taxpayers and state taxpayers. We're talking more than $500 million thus far spent on this. So clearly it's a problem. And even you've got Mayor Johnson seeming to stop himself from calling it a problem and calling it a dynamic. So we'll hear a little bit of that later on, but let's hear what the mayor had to say ultimately, and even what the governor has to say after that about the resources for Chicago when it comes to dealing with the migrant situation. So this is a collection, some of the highlights of the Q&A that Johnson was addressing earlier this week. And again, he talks about the buses arriving. He talks about his trip to the southern border he's preparing to take. When that's going to happen, not too sure yet, so we'll be watching for that. But he also is asked about, is this an effort to try to derail the DNC that's going to be happening next year in Chicago? So a mix of all of that. Here's Brandon Johnson.
14 buses today. We're getting word that it could be as many as 22. This is a growing crisis, not just for the city of Chicago, but for the entire globe. The population shift that we are experiencing as a result of the failure of federal policies is now impacting the people of Chicago in a very dramatic way. And so that's why I've been standing up a brand new shelter every single week. We've renegotiated a contract that I inherited multiple times to cut the cost on services. And so my concern did not start last week. It didn't start today. I've been concerned about this. And this is why, for the first time in the history of Chicago, we have a deputy mayor dedicated to this very issue. We knew this was coming. The type of governance or lack of governance that we're seeing from the Republican Party, we've been knowing this. This is the same party that tried to overturn an election. You can't put anything past these individuals. So absolutely, they want to punish Chicago for being the greatest freaking city in the world. But we're going to continue to band together, do our part to make sure that we're showing up for people who have needed the government to respond to their critical needs for generations now. So going to the border is to make sure that everybody knows that my administration is committed to making sure that we are putting together the full force of government at every single level to ensure that these families, who, by the way, they're not illegal. They're asylum seekers. They are protected by international law.
I've heard that the goal is to convince migrants not to come to Chicago during winter time. Is that true?
No. Are there other questions? And thank you for not always believing what you hear and asking me directly. We need to go assess the situation. Just like our team has gone to D.C., we need better coordination, quite frankly. You know, this is a dynamic but here's the thing. I recognize what our southern states are dealing with. And so going to see it firsthand. So yes, Craig, we're going to assess the full situation, and that also requires our team to be at the border. Thank you very much.
When will you go, sir?
I mean, y'all want to know all my business today?
Yeah.
Justin.
Soon.
Like in a week, 2 weeks?
Soon. Justin.
Just to clarify, when is the team?
Soon as possible. Look, I'm still running a major city. I have children who attend schools who have soccer games, y'all. You know, you all are asking me as if I'm not a parent in this city. I get it, I'm mayor. I get it, but you're asking me to give you a date, and I have to court. Do you understand that you have not had a mayor like me? I get that. I have a wife, I have children, they have schedules. And plus, we still have public safety that we have to address. We still have the unhoused that we have to address. I still have a budget that I have to address. And I'm doing all of that with a black wife raising 3 black children on the west side of the city of Chicago. I am going to the border as soon as possible. But I got to coordinate that with running the government and making sure that my wife and children are secure as well. Thank you, Lawrence.
Okay. Can you clarify?
You have another question. So you had one question asked 4 different times. All right, go ahead.
I was following up for a colleague. Can you clarify on the NASCAR contract? You're saying more revenue.
So he goes on to address a few other things top of mind for the city of Chicago. So a lot there that Mayor Brandon Johnson had to say, especially about the idea of going to the southern U.S. border and what his ultimate goal is. It's not to tell people not to come because it's cold. It's to tell people that Chicago's going to do its job. And previously, Johnson has upheld Chicago as a sanctuary state. Speaking of sanctuary policies, Governor J.B. Pritzker has also upheld sanctuary state policies, making immigration enforcement lax. But here's what the governor had to say about the assistance giving to Chicago.
So let me first say that we are in constant communication, and I mean multiple times a day, between our offices and the mayor's office and his departments with regard to the challenge of the asylum seekers coming in large numbers to the city, and have been really since he took office. We were only made aware that he had a plan to go to the border yesterday, I think, when maybe the public was made aware. Maybe it was a few minutes before, but and we've been assisting in lots of different ways with personnel, with dollars and so on, to help the city along the way. But we certainly have provided insights that our teams have gathered over the last 13 months from visiting the border, from talking to the NGOs on the ground, because they really are the ones who have the daily expertise and knowledge. So, we'll assist him in any way that he needs in his trip.
So, again, assisting the mayor any way he needs in the trip. What about more assistance from state taxpayers for housing, for health care, for education of the non-citizen arrivals, of a whole host of other things, food and so forth? Is there going to be a supplemental appropriation at the fall veto session? That was a question asked of Governor Pritzker yesterday.
As you know, we balanced the budget for this year, and it isn't as if we're coming in with, enormous surpluses, and we always have things that are, an opportunity for us to be of assistance. This is not something where we have hundreds of millions of dollars to support, but remember, we've gone above and beyond. We've taken some of the programs that have pre-existed this crisis and sort of adjusted them to help with the migrant crisis. Let me give you one example. Our rental assistance program, which is very important for helping people that just fall just under the ability to pay their rent. We have provided some of that rental assistance money, which wasn't originally intended to be about asylum seekers, for this challenge.
So, again, the costs continuing to grow. Are any more state tax dollars going to be opened up to go to this issue. I mean, we saw last Friday where the governor announced $41.5 million to 6 Chicago area communities, including the city of Chicago getting $30 million. But Joliet's in line to get $8.6 million. You had citizens in Joliet pushing back against that, saying they don't want that grant. So we'll get to the latest there as well and how this is going from all the way to the southern U.S. border, to the White House, to Chicago, to the Chicago suburbs and beyond. So stay tuned. We'll get to all of that here with Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop. Follow me anywhere. Bishop on Air. It's 720 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Deliver smiles, butter burgers, fresh custard, and great service. Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all positions.
Where do ghosts sleep? In the Booge Room, of course. And they sleep great on their all-new Bemco Arctic Breeze and Max Life mattresses from the guys at Just Beds. This month, twin Bemco mattresses $149. Queen mattresses just $229. Spooky good deals and a great night's sleep from the all-new Bemco Arctic Breeze and Max Life mattresses. As always, free delivery to your Booge Room, setup, and removal. Visit the Yawn Exterminators at Just Beds on Montvale Drive, Springfield.
November is just around the corner. It's unbelievable how fast we're blowing through this year. But it's also unbelievable to see how quick the new facility for Green Hyundai has come in just the past few months, and the crew with Green Hyundai standing by with Mike Quimby to tell you about how excited they are to get into that new facility. But Mike, you guys are going to try to save some money somewhere by selling what you got on the lot now instead of having to transport it all the way across town. So you're going to be making some deals today. What's up?
You're right, Greg. Hey, we are kind of giving you the last chance to buy a new Hyundai on the east side of Springfield at Dirksen Parkway in front of Penny's as we prepare to move all the new to the new facility on Stanford November the 1st. So it's your opportunity to be able to shop at the Dirksen Parkway store. We are motivated sellers as we've got over almost 150 cars, new Hyundais on the ground right now, and many more coming as this new facility opens up. They promised us a lot of extra cars, so here they come, and we got to be ready for them. So that means offering you the 1.9% on select new Hyundais with approved credit and rebates up to $3,000 on select new Hyundais. So get up, get out, come out and see us. These incentives and the price are all going up with the UAW strike. So do yourself a favor. Buy now if you're in the market because it's not going to get any better. So come out and see us. Last chance to buy Dirksen Parkway.
Mike Quimby, yep. Green Hyundai. Have a great weekend.
You got it, Greg. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Keeping you connected with the latest market updates every weekday afternoon at 4:30 and 6:30. Brought to you by Edward Jones, making sense of investing. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's news and talk.
Looking to buy your next home or considering listing? My wife and I recommend choosing RE/MAX Professionals of Springfield, Fritz Pfister. Working with Fritz to find our new home in Sangamon County was truly a wonderful experience. He's prompt, responsive, and we had constant communication. He was committed to serving our needs and made our home buying experience an absolute pleasure. RE/MAX Professionals of Springfield, Fritz Pfister, 217-652-7653. 217-652-7653. Buying or selling a home? Fritz makes it easy.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Rieken, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store. Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand.
I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
To protect his family from disaster, Steve used his camera phone.
Done.
By taking pictures of his important documents, Steve can always have them stored online. Learn more simple disaster prep tips at ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
Barcom Security. You know, we're the Have a Secure Day security systems company, right here out on South Cookie Mill Road. Family owned and managed for nearly 50 years. We are local experts in residential, small business, and commercial security systems. Family owned, family values, treating you just like family. Call us anytime, day or night, and we'll actually pick up the phone. You can check us out at barcomsecurity.com, and as always, have a secure day.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Weekdays 6 till 9 on 92.7 WMAY.
That's the public up in Chicago earlier this week. Video captured by Mark Weilmerler on Twitter. We've had him on the show before. He's just a citizen of Chicago that shows up to these types of events and talks to all kinds of people. And pretty incredible to see that. Of course, that's in Chicago, where you've got residents upset about the lack of resources going to their communities. And instead, you've got a lot of resources, a growing number of resources going to the migrant community. So again, here is just some more of the frustrations that are being felt up in Chicago by the city's taxpayers. And this is from a hearing earlier this week where the public came out to express their concerns as to the growing issues of the migrant crisis.
Our safety, our kids have a place to go and soak up our senior because I'm one of them. So my thing is, I don't need my taxes going up. I pay my taxes to come to this park, and you all have no right to just make a blank decision to take it.
So clearly, the sentiments are seeming to turn. Maybe that was why we saw the White House change direction and actually go to fund the border wall and to start constructing the border wall. But that was Chicago, where they've got 15,000 migrants. In Joliet's set to get $8.6 million to fund migrant care, and that was something that the township wanted. And it was announced on Friday that the township was getting that $8.6 million. But we heard earlier this week, city officials in Joliet say they never applied for this. So that's still tied up. But during that city council meeting in Joliet, you had members of the public on both sides of this issue talk about the importance of compassion, but also the importance of Americans.
My name is Doug Casper. I live here in Joliet, and I have what we call a house of hospitality. And over the years, I've taken in a lot of people. Lately, a lot of migrants seeking asylum. I've taken in over 19, in fact, over the last couple of years. All good people. And I just want to state that. I like to quote the Hebrew scripture, "You shall not oppress an alien, for we were once aliens ourselves."
So that citizen letting his voice be heard to say we got to be compassionate, but you had others get up there to raise concern. Here is just another citizen in Joliet over this past week saying that we just can't handle this.
And health care right here in America Families are being forced off of Medicaid. They're being forced to pay. They're recuperating from COVID. We've got homelessness, homeless vets right here in America. And I certainly agree with the young lady that spoke earlier. Let's take care of our own. We're still sending billions of dollars to different countries, but we cannot give American citizens debt relief for trying to improve their living by going to school. So just think about the finances, the education, the strain on health care that's coming to the community. So let's think about the community as a whole. Look at what's going on in Chicago, in different areas where they're just inundated, busloads of people. Personally, I think there should have been a collaboration with the mayor of the city of Joliet, the county board, the senators, the local politicians. This should not have been done in a silo.
So again, that's one resident of Joliet raising concerns and saying that this shouldn't have been done in a silo, and that's something that seems to have appeared to have been the case with the $8.6 million that the city of Joliet's township government is set to get. But the township government says they're going to keep going with this grant. Angela Contreras, the Joliet Township Supervisor, telling the Herald News at the moment, I do hear the concerns from the public, but we are evaluating all options to help our agencies in the area before committing to not accepting the grant. The grant is going to be used to fund services already being provided, according to the Herald News, especially with the Spanish Community Center and Will and Grundy County Medical Clinic, two organizations named as grant recipients. Contreras said, I envision that the grant just stabilizes the work the organizations are already doing so that they don't go under. The people are here already, and we don't want the system to go under. So it looks like Joliet's going to still have to grapple with the idea of getting $8.6 million to help with migrant care while you've got the township supervisor in Joliet saying they're already in Joliet. So where this goes from here, we'll definitely be watching it. But obviously the sentiments seem to be spilling over. Coming up, we will talk about those sentiments. Recent poll conducted about what has changed. How are people feeling about the idea of sanctuary city policies? So stay tuned. We'll get to that next here on WMAY. It's 7:32. I'm Greg Bishop, and let's check some headlines.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the three big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Dick Butkus is dead at the age of 80. Butkus was called by Sports Illustrated the most feared man in the game during a playing career spent entirely with the Chicago Bears. A native of Chicago, Butkus played linebacker at the University of Illinois before being drafted by the Bears in 1965. Afterwards, he pursued a career as an actor, broadcaster, and pitchman. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame and made the Pro Bowl 8 out of the 9 seasons he played. Former gubernatorial candidate and former Illinois General Assembly member Darren Bailey says he's had enough with illegal immigration. In a tweet yesterday, Bailey called Governor Pritzker and Chicago Mayor Johnson spineless and suggested his sanctuary policies be put on the ballot. Chicago's Rich Miller pointed out that Illinois has no referendum procedure to put such a measure on a ballot. A University of Chicago alum is one of 3 scientists who won the 2023 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Mungi Buwendi received his PhD from Chicago in 1988 and now teaches at MIT. He and his colleagues won the award for the work with nano-sized particles, which can release very bright colored light and are used in electronics and medical imaging. They make television screens brighter and allow surgeons to more easily identify tumors. October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Susan G. Komen Organization will host the 2023 Springfield More Than Pink Walk on Saturday, October 7th at the state capitol in Springfield. The walk is Susan G. Komen's annual fundraising event where family and friends celebrate breast cancer survivors and honor those who have passed away from the disease. The walk site and activities open at 4 p.m., with the Parade of Hope taking place around 5:30. The Illinois State Police has announced that investigators have identified the vehicle and driver believed to be involved in the fatal crash just outside of Teutopolis on September 29th. ISP-credited community members who supplied information after the agency issued a plea to residents to contact them with doorbell or security footage of the area. 5 people died when a tanker carrying anhydrous ammonia crashed, apparently while being overtaken by a car. The University of Illinois meets the University of Nebraska tonight in Lincoln. Each team is looking for its first victory in the Big Ten, with the loser almost certainly out of contention for a Big West division title only 6 weeks into the season. Nebraska lost at home to Michigan last week, while Illinois lost on the road to Purdue. Sangamon County residents who live outside the city of Springfield now have large item pickup and drop-off services available. The county launched the program this week in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. Eligible residents can schedule pickup or drop-off of large items not typically accommodated by regular waste management services. More details can be found at WMAY.com. Your WMAY dependable forecast is next on Springfield's News and Talk.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
It's a new day, a new way at Green Hyundai. Over 100 new Hyundais in stock and more arriving daily. Come see why Hyundai is the best-selling new car in Sangamon County for the last 16 years.
That's right. Motor Trend Magazine's big third row 7 and 8 passenger SUV comparison. Hyundai Palisade placed number 1 over the competition. Motor Trend quotes Palisade, lowest price, best fuel economy, and more luxury, backed up by America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000.
Also, TrueCar quotes, best overall SUV, the Tucson. Can you believe the best SUV is under $30,000? Yeah, base price at only $28,000 window price.
Largest inventory we've had in 3 years. Pushing 200 units on the ground. Get the Green Hyundai today. Save big on Hyundai's value. Green Hyundai, 1200 South Dirksen Parkway, Springfield.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Blood donors rock at Impact Life because saving lives is in their bones. Now, through October 31st, all donors who register to give blood will be eligible for their choice of a $10 gift card or a limited edition Blood Donors Rock long-sleeved Halloween-themed t-shirt. Give what's in your heart today and register to donate blood before October 31st. Visit our donor center on Wabash in Springfield or on Main Street in Decatur. We are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Now, your dependable forecast on 92.7 WMAY.
Slight chance for scattered showers. Today, otherwise partly cloudy skies. High of 64, winds out of the west 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows around 42. Tonight, mainly clear. Daytime highs approaching 60. Tomorrow, sunny skies and calm. Mid-60s, Sunday, turning cooler on Monday with highs in the low 60s. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 45.
Doors take us to summers away or winter adventures and afternoon getaways. Your dedicated Fidelity advisor can help you open those doors by working with you on a comprehensive plan to help you reach your wealth's full potential. Because doors were meant to be opened. Visit fidelity.com/wealth. Investment minimum supply. Fidelity Brokerage Services, LLC, member NYSE SIPC.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live.
Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Do you like gadgets? Techie kind of stuff that you can control with your phone, like your home security system, for instance. If you have a security system and you're not able to control everything with your phone, you're really missing out. With the virtual keypad on your phone, you can even watch your cameras and control other systems in your house besides just the security system from anywhere at any time. Curious? Call the Springfield office of Barcom Security or check out barcomsecurity.com and have a secure day.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
That's just some of the sentiment you're hearing in Chicago around the issue of it being a sanctuary city and more migrants showing up and more taxpayer resources being used. So what's changed here? Well, some recent polling indicating quite a bit has changed, and that could be one of the reasons why we're seeing some pressure, including the White House changing direction in building a border wall, despite previous statements seeming that it goes against what their policies were of having welcoming communities across the entire country. Well, to talk more about the polling on this, we're now going to talk with a pollster who put together some information. Matthew Pogorski joins us, and we're going to hear about, how these sentiments may have changed. Matthew, thanks for taking time with us this morning. How you doing?
Good, Greg. Good morning. How are you?
Good. So we've been tracking this all morning long, from DHS announcing the border wall to the president saying the border wall doesn't work to the governor saying the president's just signaling to Republicans, hey, we're willing to build a wall if you want to come to the table and talk about comprehensive immigration reform, to even Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson now announcing he's going to the southern border, and Joliet's grappling with whether or not they're going to accept grant dollars. So all of this obviously centering around migration and sanctuary city policies. Tell us about the polling that you did.
Yeah, the terminologies have definitely changed over the years, Greg. That's a starting point. When I was studying in college in Chicago, sanctuary city meant something very different than it does today. Sanctuary city meant immigration status wouldn't be questioned by local police so that they can get, better cooperation with crime investigations. It's really changed now quite a bit. But to the poll, at the end of the day, you're talking about a city that Donald Trump gets, between 12 and 15%. So this is not a red city. It's not a conservative city. It's not even a moderate city. It's for the most part a totally Democrat-controlled far left city by any standards. And a majority of those likely voters have said that they want to end sanctuary city and stop housing the migrants, whatever that means to them. And it surprised even me. Sometimes I go into polls having a pretty good idea of which way the wind's going to blow. This time it was a really big surprise to me.
So M3 Strategies, the polling done, you say only 39% of respondents believe that Chicago should remain a sanctuary city. Do we have any comparison to that number compared to what it may have been pre-COVID, and then also maybe even recent headlines and the 15,000 or so that Chicago's received in the past 13 months?
It's a good question. I haven't pulled that particular question in many years. Off the top of my head, it was a large majority were in favor of sanctuary city and housing of, we didn't call them migrants then, but housing of immigrants and people in need. But I did see a survey was done in February. I don't know if it was necessarily apples to apples, but it was a different survey was done in February that showed support for sanctuary city and asylum seekers and more resources for them. And the tune has changed. Now, keep in mind, this is a snapshot in time. This doesn't necessarily mean that Chicago permanently has changed its thought process on being a welcoming city and sheltering illegal immigrants or legal migrants. But as of right now, there's definitely a double-digit lead in favor of ending Sanctuary City as they know it today.
Yeah, talk about the demographics here and how this breaks down. Is it across the board that most people don't want to see Chicago be a sanctuary city anymore? Or is there an interesting split as far as, the racial demographics here?
Yeah, as I've been seeing a lot lately in Chicago, there are essentially two cities here, not broken out the demographic way you would expect those. So if you break it out by race, whites across Chicago are very much in favor of keeping Sanctuary City by about double-digit margins. Non-whites, Hispanics, blacks, and others are overwhelmingly in favor of ending Sanctuary City. The most stark one was black Chicagoans plus 20% ending Sanctuary City. So the racial makeup there is really stark. The other one is age. So the younger two age groups, the age groups under 45, overwhelmingly in favor of keeping Sanctuary City and continuing to house these migrants without really limit. And over 45 are overwhelmingly against it.
We're talking with Matthew Podgorski. He's with M3 Strategies. Recent polling done showing that only 39% of respondents believe Chicago should remain a sanctuary city. What do you think is behind the populations and how they break out here along the racial lines from, I would imagine white liberals saying, hey, we love sanctuary city policies, where you've got black Chicagoans and Hispanic Chicagoans saying, we don't like sanctuary policies and want it reversed.
Yeah, it's interesting. I'd say, this is obviously speculation, right? Because we didn't quite dive into that question, quantitatively. But what I would say is I think there's two things going on. One is the effect of migrants and illegal immigration is more felt in minority communities. And two, I think there's a psychological piece. I think it's harder for white people psychologically in the day and age of, the word racism being thrown around like nothing, where I think white people are afraid of being thought of as insensitive or racist or prejudiced. And so I think they're more inclined to say, no, we have to do whatever we have to do to help the migrants because they're from other countries. I think minorities don't have that burden, that guilt to worry about.
Matthew, if people want to see more information about this, where can they find it? Of course, they can just listen to this and get the specifics, but talk about M3 Strategies.
Yeah, m3strategies.com. We post all of our public polls right on our website. We do public polling often and are on TV quite a bit, as you might know, Greg. And then we do polling, obviously we make our money from doing polling for political candidates and networks. And also, obviously, we do campaign work for different candidates. So m3strategies.com is where you can find the full survey, Greg.
And for those just tuning in, driving to work, again, tell us the top line of the poll, what you found, and then a little bit more of that breakdown on the racial demographics.
So to kind of recap it, the city of Chicago's likely voters right now are all for ending Sanctuary City. Black and Hispanic and non-white voters are overwhelmingly for ending Sanctuary City. White voters as an aggregate are for keeping it, but it nets out to ending it. And, no surprise, younger folks want to keep it, and older folks are done with Sanctuary City as a snapshot in time.
That's pretty remarkable. Greatly appreciate you taking the time with us. Matthew Podgorski with M3 Strategies. Let's definitely talk again in the near future, all right?
Keep up the good work, Greg. Thanks.
Appreciate it. It's Springfield's Morning News on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk. Coming back, we'll hear some of what Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson had to say about the sentiments that he's seeing out there on the streets. So stay tuned. That's next. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop at 748 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Work with a team that cares about being the best part of the customer's day. Apply today at Culver's West on Wabash.
Peggy at Springfield Supportive Living loves to stay busy.
I love the garden area. It's so peaceful, and they got the walkway, and I walk a lot. I walk 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, at least.
And then there are Peggy's numerous hobbies.
I like to craft and sew and crochet and keep myself pretty busy, and they have a lot of activities, and I just enjoy being here.
At SpringfieldSupportiveLiving.com.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
I hope you're in a good mood today because today is World Smile Day.
All right.
It's also National Kids Music Day. And something that will have you feeling like a kid and smiling from ear to ear is what Casey's about to talk about. But first of all, here's green Toyota, Volkswagen, Audi's Casey Lane.
We've got a really cool 2022 Audi A5 Sportback Premium Plus. It's a really nice Audi. Black exterior, gray interior, only 15,164 miles. It's practically new. So if you're looking for luxury and something that looks like a cockpit inside, like a plane cockpit, come on in and take a test drive today.
After all, it is Kids Music Day, you know. And
Baby Shark.
Oh, yeah, Baby Shark, or in this case, Life in the Fast Lane with the A5, yeah. That's hard to play on one of these little bell things,
yes.
Right? Anyway, see us as soon as you can, and again, we'll put a smile on your face, and we'll also put some money in your pocket. You'll save all kinds of money. We're on West Wabash. Remember, a green Toyota, Volkswagen, Audi.
We're all in this together.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 6, we build a double-sided mattress. For those that don't intend to flip their mattress or don't want to spend a bit extra to get a flippable mattress, single-sided mattresses are a good fit, and we have plenty to choose from. However, if you prefer to have a mattress that is flippable so you have a fresh side to use, we give you that option. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Verlo has a lifetime comfort guarantee because you can't risk it when it comes to that all-important, never long enough, cozy dreamland we call sleep. You can't let something like a mystery-made mattress in a box get between you and that much-needed shut-eye. We will adjust the comfort of your mattress for its lifetime, and we call that a lifetime comfort guarantee. And for that, you gotta go to Verlo. American-made, locally crafted, welcome to Verlo.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. What about those round trips that you plan in advance, which are perfect on your way there and perfect on your way back? Or those meetings with friends for which you make a group chat 3 months before so that nobody or anything is missing? Or your daughter's first birthday party. You planned it with such dedication that instead of the first, it felt like our 15s. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Sign up for local weather and emergency alerts. Prepare an emergency kit and make a family communications plan. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make. Get started at ready.gov/plan.
Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
Listen and watch the interviews with today's newsmakers on Facebook and YouTube. Like and subscribe now. Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY.
So we just heard some of the sentiments on the streets as to whether or not Chicago should remain a sanctuary city and sanctuary policies in general. Interesting breakdown there from M3 Strategies. But Mayor Brandon Johnson seems to be reacting to some of the sentiment that's being seen at various community events. People upset that, the focus isn't on them as tax-paying citizens. There seems to be an increasing number of funds, hundreds of millions of dollars going to non-citizen new arrivals to Chicago. So here's the mayor seeming to react to some of that sentiment that he sees on the streets.
I mean, this ain't the first time you've heard me say how serious this dynamic is, and so I'm doing my part to continue to make sure that Chicagoans who have been in this city, who have needed support, and particularly our black families. I know there's been a tremendous burden, particularly on black Chicago. I am fully aware of that. Y'all know where I live. Y'all know how many schools have been shut down in Austin, mental health clinics. Administration after administration has taken away from black people, not mine. And I want to make this point very clear as well. We're trying to make sure that migrants are not on floors. So when individuals say that black folks want what migrants want, it's not true. It's not. Black folks want what they deserve. And to compare the needs of black people to individuals who are being forced out of their countries because of bad foreign policy, who are living on floors, comparing the conditions in which descendants of slaves have had to endure to migrants who are sleeping on floors, I question how much you actually care and love about black people and understand their conditions. And so I got you. Because we speak out loud. So going to the border is to make sure that everybody knows that my administration is committed to making sure that we are putting together the full force of government at every single level to ensure that these families, who, by the way, they're not illegal. They're asylum seekers.
So we've heard the mayor. I want to hear from you. We've got a few minutes here at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number, 217-629-7970. You can also email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. Again, call in live and local, 217-629-7970. Somebody emailing in says, I love the way the Democratic Party tries to rewrite history. Maybe it's just the Bolshevik background. I can't find the direct quote, but Lori not only reaffirmed Chicago as a sanctuary city, but welcomed undocumented workers there. Wait until train loads start arriving in New York and D.C. So let's get to the phones. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Yes, I just want to know if the mayor of Chicago wants to be the mayor because he wants to be a soccer dad. He has family things, but when you take the obligation of mayor of Chicago, that's a pretty big job. It's not just the mayor of a small town. And for him to say what he said about, well, I'll get to the border eventually. I got to go see my son's soccer game, shows how tone deaf he is. Or he was put in such a bad spot that he really has no interest in doing this. He's just giving lip service to the people who are polling, saying that they don't want this, and he's just put in a bad spot right now. But I just thought it was incredibly tone deaf for him to say that he's got to go to his kid's soccer game. I'll hang up and listen.
Yeah, I appreciate the call. And if you missed that earlier on when we were hearing some of the questions of when is the mayor going to go to the Chicago or go to the southern border, Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson's like, whoa, guys, I have kids and a family, and I live in Austin, and so on. So good morning. You're on WMAY. Let's hear your thoughts.
My question is, when you see all the pictures of the migrants coming in, their clothes are so stylish, and I'm not being critical about this, but they have stylish clothes on, they have new haircuts and whatnot. My question is this: what exactly is going on in Venezuela? Is it a situation like when the Jews were getting out when Hitler came to power and they're being murdered, or is it just a bad economics?
It's a socialist country. It's a socialist country that's not treating the people well. I mean, they don't have freedom. They don't have economic prosperity.
That's in many parts of the world. I mean, if it was a situation where people were being genocide, like with the Kurdish people,
sure,
I get that. If it was the Kurds and they were coming here and they're literally being killed, I get that. But bad economic conditions does not justify putting us into a worse economic condition in America.
No, I appreciate the call. We'll take one more here before the top of the hour. Good morning. You're on WMAY. You got 30 seconds.
Greg, hey, I'm so tired
politicians pushing this racist, this white and black. I get approached all the time, and people call me white. My mother is full-blooded Italian, and my dad was American Indian, and I get called white all the time. I'm so tired of it. Why can't we just be Americans?
Understood. Appreciate the call. 217-629-7970 is the phone number. And that's all we got this hour. Appreciate everybody chiming in. Pretty contentious issues, no question. Coming back, though, we will open up the phone lines to let you sound off on all kinds of stuff. So stay tuned. It's 8 o'clock.
From the Fly SPI studios, take the easy way out. WMAY FM, Taylorville, Springfield's news and talk is 92.7 WMAY.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Liz Landers. A surprisingly strong Labor Department report. U.S. employers adding 336,000 new jobs last month. The unemployment rate unchanged at 3.8%. President Biden due to speak about jobs later today. A new Speaker of the House not yet decided, but former President Trump is weighing in.
Hours after floating himself as a potential consensus candidate, former President Trump said on his social media platform that Jim Jordan would make a great speaker, adding the Ohio congressman has his complete and total endorsement. Louisiana's Steve Scalise continues reaching out to members one-on-one, hoping the relationships he's built over his many years in the leadership will work in his favor. House Republicans huddle next Tuesday to hear from the candidates.
ABC's Stephen Portnoy. Lawmakers say Trump as Speaker is highly unlikely. Meanwhile, there's a new controversy involving Trump. An Australian billionaire and member of Trump's Mar-a-Lago club, Anthony Pratt, telling special counsel Jack Smith that Trump told him secret information about America's nuclear submarines back in 2021, months after Trump had left office. ABC News learning Pratt then shared the information with dozens of others. The biggest healthcare strike in U.S. history continuing for a third day. 75,000 Kaiser Permanente workers from California to Washington, D.C., demanding better pay and staffing.
What Kaiser has offered so far just falls short of what's needed to resolve this crisis, and honestly would leave workers further behind with the cost of living and the rising inflation than they were before they surged through a global pandemic.
Caroline Lucas, executive director of the Coalition of Kaiser Permanente Unions. And the Nobel Peace Prize awarded this morning to Iranian activist Narges Mohammadi, currently imprisoned for fighting the oppression of women in Iran. This is ABC News.
Embarrassed by ugly yellow toe fungus? Living with toe fungus it's embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off. I hid my yellow and crumbly toes from everybody. Introducing Crystal Flush. Crystal Flush is the only FDA-registered 2-in-1 home treatment that attacks your toe fungus from both the inside and out. Crystal Flush's new and different combination system knocks out toe fungus for good. Guaranteed. Crystal Flush is different. After just a few weeks, my fungus was gone. I mean, 100% disappeared. Crystal Flush was the only thing that ever worked. So if you're skeptical because you tried a bunch of other stuff, Crystal Flush is different. This is a game changer. Crystal Flush is now available without a prescription, but it is not available in stores. Get your risk-free supply today. Go to crystalflush.com. That's CRYSTAL flush.com. Stop being embarrassed by ugly yellow toenails. Go to crystalflush.com or call 800-204-4488.
All right, it is Friday, and there's tons of stuff that's happened this week. Holy cow. And you know what? I'm going to do the lazy thing. I'm just going to open up phones. So you can call in at 217-629-7970 or email me, bishoponair@gmail.com. Or you can message me on Twitter, also known as X, Facebook, YouTube. If you're following along on the live stream, you can message there as well. Let's do it. Let's hear from you out there. I've talked enough. We've heard enough from the newsmakers. Let's go ahead and have you have your piece heard, all right? 217-629-7970. That's the phone number here, live and local, Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop, now 8:04.
News.
Weather.
92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, Sangamon County residents who live outside the city of Springfield now have large item pickup and drop-off services available. The county launched the program this week in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. Eligible residents can schedule pickup or drop-off of large items not typically accommodated by regular waste management services. More information can be found at WMAY.com. A Chicago high school student has made an important contribution to the science of predicting wildfires. Nikita Agrawal, who attends Whitney Young High School, created a predictive model after filling in gaps she'd identified in current research. She presented her findings at an international sustainability conference called the Argonne Exemplary Student Research Program and will make another presentation at the American Geophysical Union's meeting in San Francisco. October is National Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and the Susan G. Komen Organization will host the 2023 Springfield More Than Pink Walk on Saturday, October 7th at the state capitol in Springfield. The walk is Susan G. Komen's annual fundraising event where family and friends celebrate breast cancer survivors and honor those who have passed away from the disease. The walk site and activities open at 4 p.m., with the Parade of Hope taking place around 5:30. A Wisconsin man made 2 attempts yesterday to enter the state capitol with firearms. The first time, he was carrying a holstered handgun while demanding to see the governor. He was arrested because the Wisconsin Capitol only allows weapons in the building if they're concealed and the bearer has a permit. He posted bail and within hours had returned with an assault-style weapon, demanding to see the governor again. Illinois Representative Daniel Didich pointed out that in Illinois, someone threatening to murder the governor would not be able to buy his way out of jail because of the Safety Act. Your WMAY dependable forecast is next on Springfield's News and Talk.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 5. We have comfort coaches that care. We found our guests face enough of a challenge just trying to find the right mattress. The least of their worries should be poor service. We want your experience to be positive from the moment you walk through our door to when we are leaving your house, and we'll be there for the life of your mattress. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Here's a question for you. Do you know what's inside your mattress? I mean, really, what is your mattress even made of? What crazy concoction of materials are you sleeping on? Well, we might not know what's in your mattress, but we definitely know what's in ours. Because our mattresses are made locally with our own 2 hands. And only the best materials. We lifetime comfort guarantee it. American made, locally crafted. Welcome to Verlo.
It's a new day, a new way at Green Hyundai. Over 100 new Hyundais in stock and more arriving daily. Come see why Hyundai is the best-selling new car in Sangamon County for the last 16 years.
That's right. Motor Trend Magazine's big 3rd row 7 and 8 passenger SUV comparison. Hyundai Palisade placed number 1 over the competition. Motor Trend quotes Palisade, lowest price, best fuel economy, and more luxury, backed up by America's best warranty, 10-year, 100,000.
Also, TrueCar quotes best overall SUV, the Tucson. Can you believe the best SUV is under $30,000? Yeah, base price and only $28,000 window price.
Largest inventory we've had in 3 years, pushing 200 units on the ground. Get the Green Hyundai today. Save big on Hyundai's value. Green Hyundai, 1200 South Dirksen Parkway, Springfield.
Now, your dependable forecast on 92.7 WMAY.
Slight chance for scattered showers today, otherwise a mix of clouds and sun. Highs of aloft around 64, westerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows of aloft around 42. Tonight, mainly clear skies. High of 60 tomorrow. Mid-60s Sunday, turning cooler on Monday with highs in the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 47.
Weather sponsored by BLH Computers in Springfield, Jacksonville, and Taylorville. Online at blhcomputers.com. Hey, it's Breeze Airways, the seriously nice airline that wants to fly you to your next vacation. Fly nonstop from Abraham Lincoln Capital Airport in Springfield to Orlando and Tampa Bay, faster and easier than ever before. We don't charge change or cancellation fees, so you can book with complete peace of mind. Go to flybreeze.com or download the Breeze app to book your trip. Breeze Airways, seriously nice.
Fly SPI. Take the easy way out.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a
true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Blood donors rock at Impact Life because saving lives is in their bones. Now, through October 31st, all donors who register to give blood will be eligible for their choice of a $10 gift card or a limited edition Blood Donors Rock long-sleeved Halloween-themed t-shirt. Give what's in your heart today and register to donate blood before October 31st. Visit our donor center on Wabash in Springfield or on Main Street in Decatur. We are changing the world together. Visit bloodcenter.org.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk.
It's Friday. It's 8 o'clock. I've got an hour left and open phone lines for you to sound off on practically anything we've talked about today or throughout the week, or stuff we haven't talked about yet. One thing that we have not discussed, Kevin McCarthy he's not the speaker anymore. That happened this week. We've just been inundated with so much Illinois stuff that we haven't even tackled that. We haven't even really talked about Donald Trump and showing up in court and then walking out of court for the past 3 days or so, blasting the entire process that's playing out in New York state courts about his business dealings. But we've been focusing a lot on, of course, things impacting Chicago and the suburbs and Illinois taxpayers when it comes to the migrant issue. So I'd love to hear from you on all of these issues and more. You can call in at 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. One thing that we also talked about previously was the nursing situation where, in other states, you've got nurses that are going on strike with Kaiser Permanente. But here in Illinois, you've got nurses that are saying that they want some kind of staffing ratios. And we heard some callers sprinkled throughout the day yesterday talking about this and even read off some emails kind of all over the place when it comes to the idea of limiting how many people a nurse can take care of in any given day. Nurses and nurses unions coming together saying that they're overworked, they're exhausted. Coming back from COVID, you've got that at play there. But they feel like they're possibly putting people's lives in danger from being overworked. And maybe there's a happy medium somewhere when it comes to the employers, the hospital groups, the nursing homes saying these types of rules on minimum staffing, or like, for instance, there's a federal rule that's being proposed to require 24-hour registered nurse on site at a nursing home. 24 hours. And you got to think, how is a nursing home going to staff that to have that type of individual on staff 24 hours? You got to make sure you got people being able to only work 8 hours a day and have the weekends off, or vacation or sick time, and then you got to have some backup. So that you could see that being a costly issue there. But also it's a question of services and the level of care that people want when they or that they should get and should expect when they're going to a nursing home, for instance. So that's one issue. But again, the other issue is in Illinois, there's no limit as to how many patients a nurse can handle. One nurse may be burdened by that, saying they can't handle more than 5, 6, or 7. And I know there's different stages of care. There's just, post-op care. There's people who are just hanging out in a hospital somewhere. There's others who are preparing to go into surgery and need to be monitored. Listen, I understand there's different levels of care, and that's got to all be part of this conversation. But when it comes to, one nurse may be, burdened by having to take care of 4 or 5 patients per day. Another nurse might excel at that and might actually get paid more based on merits of their ability to efficiently be with patients, be with more patients. So when we discuss labor and management issues, there really is just an interesting kind of flux of, obviously we want a standard level of anticipated care, but we don't want to cap it there, right? We don't want to make that not just the baseline, but the top line. You want it to be obviously safe, affordable, and efficient, but you also don't want to limit the ability for others to excel even more. So those are interesting things to grapple with when discussing the any issue when labor and management comes into play. Because, listen, the nurses situation, you've got striking nurses around the country. Here in Illinois, they're looking for some minimum type of staffing ratios. But you've also got the United Auto Workers strike that continues. And the questions about the cost that's going to mean moving down the road for those consuming, commercial vehicles. So obviously a lot of points of contention along those lines. Some other things we didn't necessarily get a chance to talk about this week: the Teutopolis crash from Friday over the week, or was it Saturday? You had that just horrific crash happen. It was late Friday, where apparently some construction going on in some areas and concerns about diversion of traffic and what exactly is playing out there. Well, State Representative Adam Niemerg, he has essentially demanded now that there be an investigation of that crash. And while state police have identified a vehicle they suspect may have been involved in that crash, there's still questions that Niemerg has about just the accountability for the Illinois Department of Transportation.
They won't take 70. They're scared because the roads are so narrow. They've got one lane. If something happens, you're out on your own. Emergency response time is difficult for these folks.
More from Representative Niemerg.
And I put out a statement Sunday calling for an action plan to immediately remedy this situation. And IDOT officials in Springfield just say that I've got baseless claims for this.
So what's next? Is he going to be able to get to the bottom of this? Concerns they have.
There needs to be some change here, and folks in Springfield need to get this under control immediately, because the last thing that we ever wanted to happen was an accident. But so many people in my hometown come up to me and they say, this was just a matter of time. We saw this coming.
So obviously still concerns about what happened with the Teutopolis crash. What caused it? Could it have been avoided? Because from my understanding, that's not the only accident that's happened there. Of course, this made a lot of headlines because 5 people were killed, including 3 people from one family. And the tragedy behind that story is just, it's heartbreaking. But obviously some major concerns, especially in some of these smaller towns where they're diverting traffic around in various areas. And well, is the traffic diversion done properly? And how can they best mitigate any concerns there may be? I get the uncomfortable driving of very limited lanes. It's not like on Seinfeld where Kramer does adopt a highway and expands 4 lanes into 2, and you got such wide lanes and the lanes dry. It's not like that when they're doing construction. I mean, down in the St. Louis area, if you're heading towards Wentzville, they've been doing construction for, about 30 years, and the lanes are so narrow. And you've got that embankment that they've made with concrete wall, and then you've got a semi-truck on the other side, and you're going down 65 miles an hour, and there's somebody that comes up in your rear end, it's going 80 miles an hour, and it's tough. There's no doubt, but there's got to be a better way, especially if you've got a prone area where traffic crashes are happening, including fatal ones. Maybe there needs to be some more thorough investigation and rethinking of how to handle those things. Call in 217-629-7970. Again, 217-629-7970. Let's go ahead and check this out and see what we can make happen, all right? It's Friday, for crying out loud. 8:18 from Culver's West on Wabash. Let's take a look at Springfield's dependable weather, where today you've got a high of around 64 degrees. It's kind of chilly out there. The low of 40 tonight. And then for Saturday, sunny with a high of 59. Sunday, mostly sunny with a high of 64. And then Columbus Day, sunny skies, 59 the high. Where are we at right now? 47 degrees. Sun's out, though. 8:19 from Culver's West on Wabash.
It's time to apply at Culver's West on Wabash. We're hiring all positions, and did we mention free food? Only at Culver's West on Wabash.
I'm Meredith Foley, pediatrician at SIU Medicine. By my name, it says doctor, but it should also say partner, advocate, neighbor, even friend. Because our patients not only get exceptional medicine, the newest technology, the brightest minds, they also get someone who cares about them, champions their lives and our community. The journey to good health isn't taken alone, so our patients never have to. Learn more at siumed.org.
You know, we eat them probably once a week. Don't even think about it.
What's that?
Today is National Noodle Day.
Oh, noodles, yeah.
Yeah, there you go. You celebrate noodles in all shapes and sizes. They originated in China, and the word noodle comes from the German word Nudel. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, here at Green Toyota Volkswagen Audi, if you've been noodling on getting a new vehicle, we can help. Here's Green Toyota's Casey Lane.
I'm sorry, I cracked myself up.
You're silly.
Yes.
A silly person.
We got a 2023 Ford Bronco Wild Track. Nice looking Ford Bronco. I loved their body style. This one, exterior's chili pepper red and black interior. It only has 3,800 miles on it. So if you've been looking and you're wanting to get something that's almost new, well, here it is right here.
And it is a beautiful vehicle, too.
Really
You
is.
come on in and take advantage of that. Again, the noodles are on us. If you come on in. Yeah, that's right. We'll find some ramen somewhere. We're on West Wabash. Remember, at Green Toyota Volkswagen Audi.
We're all in this together.
Hi, this is Rob from Cadenza Precious Metals. Did you know that we purchase collections in the States? Our overhead is very low, which allows me to make really strong offers for your loved one's treasures. We buy coins, watches, many collectibles, diamonds, and unwanted jewelry. We can come to you, or I'll meet you in my private office. No storefront or employees allows me to pay you more. Call me and we'll chat about your particular situation. Call Rob at 217-415-5581. You will be pleasantly surprised.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack, but not with ZipRecruiter. Its powerful technology actively finds and invites qualified candidates to apply to your job. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
This week at Macy's, find your signature fall look with big savings on incredible specials. Like 30 to 50% off cool weather coats for him and her. 40 to 60% off designer suits and blazers he can dress up or down. And 30 to 40% off the season's must-have boots and shoes during the Great Shoe Sale. Or use your coupon or Macy's card and take an extra 20% off more great deals at Macy's. Savings off sale and clearance prices. Exclusions apply.
When your people are ready, your business is ready. Cintas makes sure they have what they need to perform their best. Whether it's freshly laundered work apparel for almost any job imaginable, fire protection systems that are tested and inspected, first aid and safety supplies, floor mats, or cleaning tools and restroom products, stocked and ready when you need them. Better work days happen together, so visit Cintas.com.
Oh, I'm ready!
And get ready for the workday.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop. Listen on demand at WMAY.com. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
Opening things up on this Friday for you to sound off and get your voice heard. 217-629-7970. Emailer says, but isn't there an established path for seeking asylum? If there is, then if they are not following that path, they're crossing illegally, making the mayor wrong. State police should escort the buses to the line and say later. So, that's just one issue that people are focusing on this morning. You've got a ton of other issues and open lines for you to sound off. Commenter on YouTube says that they were in Teutopolis on third shift whenever they were eventually evacuated. He says they were there about an hour before the shift was over, getting evacuated about a mile and a half from the crash site. Yikes, that's no good. But let's go ahead and hit the phones at 217-629-7970. Thanks for your patience. Good morning. You're on WMAY. What do you want to talk about?
Hi, good morning, Greg. Hey, since Mayorkas has said that we need to put the wall back up, and then Biden says we're going to put the wall back up, what's your thoughts on using illegals to build the wall?
Well, I don't have any thoughts about that, other than that's an interesting question. I guess you got to get the proper work waivers to allow them to do that job. Are they trained with backhoes? Are they trained with heavy equipment? Are they trained in engineering? I kind of get the little tongue-in-cheek nature there, but I think there would be a lot of concerns.
My thoughts are, though, one of the things we talked about is there's nothing. They're looking for work, and really, a lot of the men there are good, hard workers. And that's my thoughts on that is if you set the right crew up and then brought them in as workers, that would be the perfect solution to building the wall.
All right. I guess that's one proposal. Be sure to write the White House on that and let me know if they get back to you. 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Morning, Bishop. I just tuned in. Is this open phones?
It's pretty much whatever you want to talk about. We haven't even discussed the House Speaker mess. We haven't discussed the Trump stuff. We haven't discussed the Biden stuff. But it's been a lot of focus on the border, really.
I got a couple things. I've been trying to get a hold of you since not this past Wednesday, the Wednesday before. You had a guy on that I want to say he owned a car lot, maybe.
Yeah.
And he had to put up like $30,000 in camera. He was talking about drug addicts and stuff stealing.
Yep.
As you were talking about that, I was driving down the road in my work vehicle, and this is the God's honest truth. There was a woman in the middle of the road shooting heroin.
What? Where? Here in town?
To God. Here in Springfield, Illinois, standing in the middle of the road. Now, it was a side road in between.
Oh, that's horrible.
9th and 11th. Literally in the middle of the road, I had to give her a honk. She looked up. She moved over to the side. I did a U-turn to come around, and she's still just continuing there shooting heroin up. I was like, what? It's unbelievable. But the border thing, I got a great idea for this that'll make this all go away. It won't cost taxpayers anything. For all the people that are in on this open border and all for it, just start, if you have an extra bedroom, 2-3 bedrooms, bring them in. Everybody that's for it, you just bring them in. They don't have to pay to have the tent city set up. You house them, you feed them, and there it is. It's simple as that.
Listen, there are some people doing that. We had earlier this morning, somebody out of Joliet told the city council, he said he's got a house where he's accepted 19 migrants just in the past couple of years.
If they all did it, then there would be no. I mean, they're all for it, but they're not for the solution. So, I mean, that's one person out of what, a couple million?
Well, the solution is
I know what the
varied.
solution is. I'm being
what do you think the solution is?
The solution is, damn, shut the border off and end it and call it a day. If you want to come to America, do it the right way.
Yeah, but that takes a long time. I mean, that takes years
I
and years and years.
But it's the way of life. Life isn't fair for everybody. I mean, it's plain and simple. You know, I'm sorry they were born where they were born. That's not. We have. I went to Iowa 2 weeks ago for a fishing tournament. There was 3 kids with their mom and dad sitting outside of a library, completely homeless. Wow. 3 kids. The oldest had to be maybe 8 years old. They were sleeping on the sidewalk, literally sleeping on the sidewalk. Heartbreaking. Yeah. Terrible. So,
well,
I don't know why we don't take care of our own first. I don't understand that.
Well, we'll see how this all plays out. Of course, the public sentiment is seeming to turn a bit here, but I want to hear from you now at 217-629-7970. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg. It looks like the news is getting so busy, you're going to have to go to a 5 or 6 hour show.
No.
We'd love it, too.
No.
I know. You're a busy man. You're one of the hardest. I think you're one of the hardest working people in the business. But as far as the migrant thing goes, you know, this is not, I don't believe this is being done to help the homeless. This is being done to create a burden on our country. And I once referred to the Cloward and Pivens situation that they've used in other ways.
What's that? I don't know what that is.
Well, that's where our welfare system is overwhelmed to destabilize our country. It's part of a nefarious takeover of our country. Now, the solution, in my opinion, is at the source, which is the countries where the people are fleeing from. There needs to be incentive for those people to get their act together in those countries. But if you remember during the Obama administration, they were putting up, there were groups, some even state-funded from our country, were putting up billboards down in the Central American and South American countries telling people how to come here, and encouraging them.
Well, and listen, I mean, it's just a matter of, they get across the border and they say, I'm seeking asylum, and they look at a card and say, because of, I fear for my life back in my home country, and then they're ushered through. So, yeah, obviously there's some things going on there, but interesting theory. I'll have to, whatever you can, Clavin Piven or something. 217-629-7970. We'll take one last call here. But before that call, a commenter on YouTube says, I came to the U.S. legally. It took 4 years. 4 years. Wow. He says, or she says, now I see that there's an easier way. Crossing the border? Apparently. Good morning. You're on WMAY before the break here. What's up?
Hello, Greg.
Hey.
I like this one caller that called in just a couple of minutes ago saying that it's nice that these people are taking their houses if they have an extra bedroom, but what they ought to do is put them to work, have them do chores around the house cleaning, whatever it takes. That way, you can, these people are make useful in this country instead of coming in here like farming like cockroaches or becoming parasites.
Well, there's no need to get to that level of disparagement. These are individuals, these are families, these are souls, these are people who have lives. They bleed red blood like you, and they are victims. There's no question. I mean, somebody told them, "Hey, head north. America is open," and they headed north, trying to find a better way. And obviously, that's something that I think is clearly we can't dismiss that, right? So, yeah, the Venezuelans here before July 31st, they're going to get temporary protected status and work permits, so they can do some of those work in the hospitality sector, for instance. But yeah, let's not even brush with using disparaging terms to describe human beings. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Good morning, Greg. Great show. You've had 2 callers so far that's advocated for slavery. That's awesome, man.
Wild.
Let's put them to work. I mean, you know.
Well, I mean that's what Biden said.
Yeah, but I don't believe he said it in the context they're talking about. Let's put them here and put them to work. They're going to come here and we make them work and build a wall to keep them out. And the other one, we can have servants in our house, pretty much is what he wants. I mean, seriously? That's not the work Biden's talking about, I don't believe, if he said that, Craig. No. So let's be serious.
Well, yeah, Biden said, hey, temporary protected status, work permits for Venezuelans here.
And work permits, get a job.
That's totally different. Yeah, that's exactly right. I appreciate the calls. We got to take a break, guys. It's 8:34. We'll open up the phone some more next, all right? Stay tuned. It's Springfield's Morning News.
92.7 WMAY.
Here are the 3 big things you need to know.
I'm Don Howard. Our top story, the Illinois State Police has announced that investigators have identified the vehicle and driver believed to be involved in the fatal crash just outside of Teutopolis on September 29th. ISP credited community members who supplied information after the agency issued a plea to residents to contact them with doorbell or security footage of the area. 5 people died when a tanker carrying anhydrous ammonia crashed, apparently while being overtaken by a car. Sangamon County residents who live outside the city of Springfield now have large item pickup and drop-off services available. The county launched the program this week in partnership with Habitat for Humanity. Eligible residents can schedule pickup or drop-off of large items not typically accommodated by regular waste management services. More details can be found at WMAY.com. Dick Butkus is dead at the age of 80. Butkus was called by Sports Illustrated the most feared man in the game during a playing career spent entirely with the Chicago Bears. A native of Chicago, Butkus played linebacker at the University of Illinois before being drafted by the Bears in 1965. He then pursued a career as an actor, broadcaster, and pitchman. He was inducted into the NFL Hall of Fame and made the Pro Bowl 8 out of the 9 seasons he played. After Governor Pritzker's letter to President Biden complaining about the lack of federal support for caring, feeding, and housing migrants bused to Chicago, Illinois Senators Dick Durbin and Tammy Duckworth met with Illinois Speaker of the House Emanuel Chris Welch. According to statements from the senators' offices, the lawmakers discussed Illinois' humanitarian response to the arrival of more than 15,000 migrants. Durbin and Duckworth reaffirmed their commitment to direct federal funding to the state. A Wisconsin man made 2 attempts yesterday to enter the state capitol with firearms. The first time, he was carrying a holstered handgun while demanding to see the governor. He was arrested because the Wisconsin Capitol only allows weapons in the building if they're concealed and the bearer has a permit. He posted bail and within hours had returned with an assault-style weapon, demanding to see the governor again. Illinois Representative Daniel Dittich pointed out that in Illinois, someone threatening to murder the governor would not be able to buy his way out of jail because of the Safety Act. Illinois families are reminded that support is available from the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity. The Low-Income Home Energy Assistance Program provides utility bill assistance for natural gas, propane, and electricity. Applications have opened for income-eligible households with seniors aged 60 plus, Illinoisans with a documented long-term disability, and or children under the age of 6. Links can be found at WMAY.com. Your WMAY dependable forecast is next on Springfield's News and Talk.
News sponsored by Just Beds. A great night's sleep starts with a visit to the yawn exterminators at Just Beds. Online at justbedsinc.com.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
You can jumpstart your car with a device you can hold in your hand. I'm Laurie from Rex Battery, and if you find yourself with a dead battery, the NOCO Genius Boost is all you need. You don't have to wait for a friend to show up, call a tow truck, or hope a stranger has jumper cables. If you have the NOCO Genius Boost, you have the charge you need to get your car going again. One charge can get you as many as 20 jumps. Rex Battery always carries the latest technology, and these small devices pack big power, enough oomph to start your cars, trucks, and even boats. They even have USB ports so you can get your phone powered up if you're stranded. The NOCO Genius Boost. Pick up one today at Rex Battery, Clear Lake, just west of Dirksen.
Rex with a double X battery. Generations of power.
I'm Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I learned about atrial fibrillation the hard way. My symptoms would come and go. Shortness of breath, fatigue. I kept going. Then I got so lightheaded, I couldn't. My doctor said I have AFib, so I'm about 5 times more likely to have a stroke. Other symptoms, irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain can come and go, but the risk of stroke stays. If you have symptoms, tell a doctor. Visit notimetowait.com.
Sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
Peggy at Springfield Supportive Living loves to stay busy.
I love the garden area. It's so peaceful, and they got the walkway, and I walk a lot. I walk 7,000 to 8,000 steps a day, at least.
And then there are Peggy's numerous hobbies.
I like to craft and sew and crochet and keep myself pretty busy, and they have a lot of activities, and I just enjoy being here.
At SpringfieldSupportiveLiving.com.
Springfield Supportive Living. Are you young enough?
Now, your dependable forecast on 92.7 WMAY.
Slight chance for scattered showers today. Otherwise, a mix of clouds and sun. Highs level off around 64. Westerly winds 10 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 42. Tonight, mainly clear skies. High of 60 tomorrow. Mid-60s Sunday, turning cooler on Monday with highs in the upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Jennifer Wojcicki. Currently, it's 47.
Weather sponsored by Lauterbach Tire and Auto, home of Stage 2 service. Drive safely now.
Clock Tower Community Bank is everything you want in a community bank. Local people making local decisions for local success. With 6 convenient locations in Springfield and Chatham, our experienced local bankers are here for you in every way, from opening a checking account to getting a loan. And because we're local, we share the commitment to the success and future of our community. Visit Clock Tower Community Bank today. Clock Tower Community Bank, a division of Morton Community Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Save big money on your next project with 11% off everything. From simple paint protection to heavy-duty construction, Polar Plastics Polyfilm has a solution for any project. It can even be used to help seal off drafty windows and save you money on energy costs. An 8x25-foot roll of all-purpose polyfilm is only $8.99 after 11% rebate. Good through October 8th. Savings are a mail-in rebate. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club.
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Big Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, get the whole store.
Springfield's Morning News with Greg Bishop, broadcasting from the Fly SPI Studios. Take the easy way out. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's News and Talk.
All right, back at it with your phone calls at 217-629-7970. That's the phone number. You can also email bishoponair@gmail.com. And I encourage you, if you don't follow me on the social media channels, you can do so. Just search X, formerly known as Twitter, Search Facebook, search YouTube. Just search Bishop on Air. All one word, BISHOPONAIR. Make it happen. Dimitri on YouTube is who said, I came to the U.S. legally. It took 4 years. Now I see there's an easier way. Dimitri goes on to say that when I got my approval, I waited for 16 months for my interview, being outside the U.S. Woof. But these migrants are just coming in. Well, let's hear from you. We've covered a lot of this so far throughout the day, and there's a ton of facets. Everything from, President Joe Biden saying that the border wall being built is not going to work, and the only reason they're building it is because they have to spend the money that law requires them to spend on the border wall. But that goes completely contrary to the rationale used by the Department of Homeland Security. The Secretary, Alejandro Mayorkas, saying they have to do this to secure the border, despite saying that the border was secured and being managed in previous statements. And then you have Governor J.B. Pritzker saying that the president building the border wall is really sending a message to the Republicans that, hey, we're doing this. What are you willing to do? Come to the table. Let's talk about comprehensive immigration reform. And you've got the issue in Chicago continuing to draw ire of residents there who are frustrated about the lack of resources they feel they're getting, while the hundreds of millions of dollars are going to care for these migrants. And Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson set to go to the southern border. When? Not sure. He says he's got a family to tend to, while also making sure that they focus on public safety and so on. So we've been really talking about that in some detail. But something else that, of course, we've covered extensively here on this program, and next week's going to be interesting to see how it plays out. And I just requested media credentials for the Southern District of Illinois Federal Court, because you got that October 11th hearing on the state's gun and magazine ban and the vagueness issues around that. And that's going to be fascinating, because we've already heard the Second Amendment arguments in the Southern District, where the Southern District Judge, Stephen McGlynn, who has this case, he said that it's likelihood of plaintiffs advancing on the merits. And he issued a preliminary injunction. Well, you got that preliminary injunction that only lasted for 6 days before the state got a stay from the appellate court. So it's tied up in the appellate court on the Second Amendment issues. What about those vagueness issues? So looking forward to see how that plays out. But something else that's coming up later on this month about the firearms issue is the Joint Committee on Administrative Rules. They're likely going to take up the rules that state police have for the gun registry, right? Because that opened at the beginning of this month. And that reminds me, I got to put a note into state police to get the number of registrations that have happened in the past week or so, the past 4 or 5 days. So we'll be trying to get that number for you as well, because the question is, with the gun registry, is there going to be any compliance, and what kind of level of compliance? Because in other places this has happened, it's been like 4 or 5% compliance rate. Think about that. Another thing too, the pistol brace rule kind of gives you a bit of an insight into the compliance rate of registration, because if you remember that pistol brace rule before it was struck down by a Texas appeals court, They said, hey, you have to register at this particular date. If not, you're a felon. You got one of those pistol braces? Are you an individual that has a disability and uses the pistol brace to be able to properly allow for you to more accurately fire your firearm? Or are you just somebody who has a pistol brace because you feel it's a Second Amendment right to have a pistol brace? Well, you better register it or you're going to be a felon. Well, when they did that, they only got maybe 250,000 people register, when it's thought that there were 40 million pistol braces out there, an estimate. So you can see the compliance rate in other areas where there have been registration schemes, not too favorable on side of actually having people comply. So I'll try to get that number, at least from Illinois, to see if there's mass compliance or if it's just a slow start, especially now it being just the first week of that being in place. All right. plenty of stuff for you to chime in on at 217-629-7970. We'll wrap things up next and call it a week. All right, it's 8:48 now. From Culver's West on Wabash, let's take a look at that forecast. For today, got a slight chance of some showers, but the high of 64, then the low down to 41 tonight with mostly clear skies. Saturday, sunny with a high of 59. Sunday, mostly sunny, 65 the high. And Columbus Day, 59 the high with sunshine. 47 now at 8:48 from Culver's West on Wabash.
Culver's West on Wabash is hiring for all shifts and all positions. Apply today in person.
Getting around town can be a challenge for those with disabilities. SMTD's Access Paratransit makes it easy.
My name is Angela Jefferson, and I am Superintendent of Access Paratransit Services. My role here is to provide services for riders with disabilities or those who can't get to an SMTD bus stop.
And Angela, what do you love about your job?
I love that I'm able to help provide transportation for people with disabilities who would otherwise not have it.
For schedules and routes, go to smtd.org.
Lauterbach Man here, proudly standing above my busy 7 bays on Wabash. The view from here is amazing. I've been looking at our wonderful city for decades upon decades. Many things have changed, but other things have not. We love Abe. We aren't shy about covering things in cheese, then adding toast, then cheese, then fries, then cheese, then, well, you know what I'm talking about. And the thing I'm most proud of, the thousands and thousands of cars that are driving safely thanks to our talented Lauterbach technicians. Cars going from the airport to the universities, from North Dirksen to South Veterans, crisscrossing from farmland to downtown, waving at tourists and trusted politicians. Abe. And if Abe were here today, he'd say, "Who's the tall guy?" And I'd say, "I'm Lauterbach Man, and I'm at your service." And if an imaginary Abe Lincoln driving a car can trust us, you can too. Lauterbach Tire on Wabash. Drive safely now.
Hi, this is Scott Trout of Cordell & Cordell. There are a lot of great dads out there. Sometimes those dads get divorced. For more than 30 years, we have represented men in divorce, confronting the pitfalls that could devastate your finances or harm your family relationships. While every situation is different, our goal is to get the best outcome for you and your kids. Visit CordellCordell.com to take the first step.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Springfield area attorneys. 2815 Old Jacksonville Road, Suite 103, Springfield, Illinois, 62704.
There are many reasons to buy a Verlo mattress. We've narrowed it down to the 8 great reasons to choose Verlo. Reason number 8, we do all sizes. Most mattress retailers sell twin, full, queen, and king. It's rare to find a place that will not only sell standard size, but also custom sizes. So where do you go if you need a short queen for your RV, a 3/4 for your antique bed, a queen or king waterbed replacement, or to find a replacement for that weird mattress tucked up in the attic that's been passed down for years? You go to Verlo. For a list of all 8 great reasons and our current sale, Google us or like us on Facebook.
Hey, at the end of the day, everybody wants the same thing from their mattress. A good night's rest, am I right? It's not rocket science. You don't need a physics genius to make you a futuristic space bed. You just need someone to listen to what you want and who knows the materials that will get you there. And you might even be surprised to learn that that someone could be living right next door. At Verlo, we're your friendly neighborhood mattress genius. American made, locally crafted. Welcome to Verlo.
Here at Warren Boynton State Bank, we're proud to be a true community bank since 1877. We remind you that the goal of a community bank is to work together with our customers and communities to help move them forward in positive ways. When we accept your deposits, we invest that money right back into this area, into homes, farms, and small businesses. One of our primary goals is to help this community in any way we can. And because we've invested in you, our friends and neighbors, our bank is safe and sound and in business to stay. We're sincere in our care and concern for this community. Our employers, directors, and managers are people you know, people who are dedicated to making this a better place to live. Discover what a true community bank is at Warren Boynton State Bank, 3030 Spring Mill Drive in Springfield. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Warren Boynton, your bank.
So when was the last time you saw a best deal guarantee?
You mean a promise that actually held up?
Right.
That some unknown online entity didn't want you to log in and download a code and then re-verify as you join some club?
Drives you nuts, I know.
And then once you purchase that set of steak knives...
Well, Dick Van Dyke Appliance World is a lot simpler. You find a verified great deal and they beat it. Just show them the deal you saw. A newspaper clipping or the online cart price will do, and then you're good.
At Dick Van Dyke Appliance World, it's one of those instances where you see a best deal guarantee and...
you get the best deal.
This is Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. Our exclusive 10-year protection plan comes free with most appliance purchases. Whether it's a GE, Whirlpool, Frigidaire, Bosch, or any of our 30 brands, I guarantee we will beat any competitor's deal. Wow!
Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. When you buy from us, get the whole store.
Take Springfield's morning news with Greg Bishop everywhere with the free WMAY mobile app. 92.7 WMAY. Springfield's news and talk.
All right, final few moments here. Opening it up for your phone calls, 217-629-7970. You can also email me or message me on social media. Good morning. What's up?
Hey, Bishop.
Yo.
The other day you were talking about the traveling nurses up in the Chicago area.
Yep.
How much were they making a week?
I saw one report, it was like 20,000, but another report had him making like $190+ an hour.
Wow,
So
20,000 a week? Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Wow. I told somebody that they thought I was nuts. And $190 an hour? Wow.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I
let's
just-
see, $190 an hour times 40 equals, that's $7,600. So maybe that's $30,000 a month.
Wow.
So I mean, if you're putting in overtime too, let's see, $190 times. I mean, what's overtime? 60. That's 11,000. If you go 40 or 80 hours, if you're working double over, that's about 15,000. So yeah, maybe a little inflated, but some contracts that have been reported by NBC Chicago have been just pretty wild. And
Wow, 20,000 a week. That's hard to believe. Yeah. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to know.
Right on. No, I appreciate the call. Yeah, I may have gotten the number a little wrong, but $190+ an hour. I know that sticks in my head pretty clearly. Good morning. You're on WMAY.
Hi. I was just. Did I hear it correctly? Is our president building a wall at the border?
Yes. This is not 2017 or 2018 president, right? It's not Orange Man bad. It's Biden building a border wall, 2023.
Biden good. This is Biden good. So he's not a racist or a bigot or xenophobe, but has he been called any names by people that?
The only thing that's been highlighted is that it's Biden seems to be contradicting previous statements. He also now is contradicting his Department of Homeland Security secretary because Alejandro Mayorkas said in documents that they have to build the wall because it's not as open as they or it's not as closed as they thought it was. And Biden pushed back on that. He said, no, the wall's not going to work. And the only reason they're doing this is because they have to legally spend the money on a border wall. That's why Biden says it, which goes against what his Department of Homeland Security secretary says. So who's in control of the government right now?
That's absolutely amazing. I just don't understand how they're not called racist, bigots, and xenophobes. I just remember that everyone, people would call the show and talk about how racist. You turn on the TV every time and everyone was talking about what a racist move that was because we build bridges, not walls.
Yeah.
And now they're doing it.
Well, Nancy Pelosi saying that walls are immoral, even. So.
Yeah.
Well, and listen, the White House says that this was part of law years ago, and they tried to reappropriate the money, and they couldn't reappropriate the money. So by law, they have to spend these dollars. A couple of messages I'm getting here on Twitter. Says, I think one of the things we're all missing, either because of lack of information or partisan and socio-political blind faith loyalty, is that mixed in with honest immigrants and asylum seekers are cartel foot soldiers and foreign agents. We kind of got that indication a bit with when we talked with State Representative Mike Coffey earlier this week. He traveled to the border, and he said that, he's It's a cartel crisis. It's a crisis of drugs. It's a humanitarian and sex trafficking crisis. And he also talked about how it's not, Mexicans coming across the border. There's a large Chinese contingent coming across the border. There's a large contingent of Venezuelans, as we know, coming across the border. The same commenter goes on X, formerly known as Twitter. Add to this, we need immigration reform. We don't need immigration reform, they say. We need immigration overhaul. More money to coordinate with countries of origin for vetting to create a clear, easy, cheap path to citizenship, combined with severe penalties for illegal entry. What kind of policies are ultimately going to be enacted? What is, quote, comprehensive immigration reform, as the governor constantly says? Does that mean opening up the borders more, or letting more people come through the port of entry, or relaxing the standards? Or is it, like this commenter says, a complete overhaul, making sure that money goes to coordinating with countries and getting cheaper pathways to citizenship while also allowing more vetting to happen? Who knows? All right, that's all I got for you this week, guys. It's always a mad rush to Friday. Greatly appreciate you guys tuning in. But follow me anywhere. Just search Bishop On Air, all one word, on X, formerly known as Twitter, on Facebook and YouTube. Just search Bishop On Air. Have a great and wonderful rest of the day. It's going to be an interesting one. We got a possibility of some showers with the high of 64. It's going to be gusty as well, with winds up to 31 miles an hour. The low down to around 41 tonight. And then Saturday and Sunday, we're looking at highs in the lower 60s with sunshine. Hopefully that keeps, because I need all that rain that dumped on my fence that I just washed to dry up so I can stain it this weekend. So that's what I'm going to be doing. Good times. It's 9 o'clock.